bit shorter.
Just a little bit.
Just a
All right. I went live. When he gets here, he gets here. I'm not worried about it.
Okay.
So one of the first things everybody in the group's going to notice is we have 2 new players. Yay!
Yay.
You 2 have already met them. However, Jarrett has not had a chance to meet these guys. When he gets here, he'll get his chance to meet them. When last we left, we
were in a room with some magic stuff, and there was a carpet.
You guys had figured out
Wait,
the
Simon.
actual start of the
The
teleportation
teleportation.
device. With the professor's help, you guys cleaned out what used to be an ancient Netherese vault of magical treasure and items, as well as a teleportation circle that was at the center of one of the centers. Yes, the teleportation circle made you guys play Simon, and when you got it wrong, you got a very nasty shock from these pillars. After discovering that the teleportation circle worked and how to operate it, you guys decided to retire back to the Auntie City to have a long rest and sort of kind of take advantage of their hospitality one final night before pushing on and seeing what was on the other side of the teleportation device. I do believe that that's where we left
Yes.
the whole thing. You guys took a long rest by going back into the Auntie City. That's kind of where we're picking up today. Is there anything that you want to get or try to find out? Anything the group wants to do while you're in the Auntie City?
There was that lady.
Yes.
That, like,
Yes.
Your girlfriend?
Yes. Girlfriend? Don't worry, you'll probably encounter her again, but are you going to try to seek her out?
I mean, because we know her name, we could. But she said something about medicine.
And there he is! Yay!
Man.
Doom!
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Is that thing? Oh yeah.
He felt like that was going on today. Not my hat.
I'm only wearing this because I didn't comb my hair. So.
Oh, that's okay. I didn't tell my one either.
Yeah.
So, Jarrett, I would like to introduce you to Justin
Hi. Nice to meet you.
and Julie.
Hi.
Jarrett,
Next to me.
Jarrett is the final member of the party.
Okay.
Grumpy Wampus in the Grumpy Wampus in the group chat.
Oh, is that what my name is?
That's
Yes.
your name in group chat.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
I put you as
My name is Fluffy.
But that's the point, because you wouldn't notice what it was.
Scary Cody, yeah.
Scary,
I
scary
named-
co-scary guy.
Yeah, I named him and I named her New Cakes.
That will be changing it.
Yes.
Just saying that.
No, it was. I was thinking as Urgash when I named you Grumpy Wumpus.
No, it's fitting.
So,
He named
So
me Dragon.
I had reminded the group that we are back in the Auntie City. After figuring out the teleportation device, they went back to take a long rest, and I just literally opened up the thing to say, is there anything you want to do in the Auntie City before you go before we poof the heck out of here? Sammy were talking to me, Urgash wants to potentially
Find out any favors that you can get from the lady for being apparently a hot piece of ass.
Okay, so how are you going to go about finding her? So you guys have been given this building that kind of serves as your little compound. You were also given a way to contact your liaison.
Oh, Saldi is the city historian, yeah?
Was he still assigned as your
Yeah.
liaison?
Well, that's my point, though, is
Yes.
that you would know who Miss Syria is, especially if she requires medicine. You probably would have an idea.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
contacting him, I feel like
Alright.
is the easiest way.
I have a question for him as well, but I will wait.
Okay. So how do you guys want to contact? You have the piece of paper, the scroll.
Is the butt still on it?
Huh?
Is the butt still on it?
No, it's
Oh.
it's disappeared now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the journey scroll. So
Yeah, the journey scroll.
we'll use that.
All right. Who's going to use it to do what?
Uh,
What do you guys gonna write on the journey scroll?
I'm not sure.
So I'm gonna write. We're getting ready to depart, but we need a few things first.
Disappears. I will be arriving shortly.
Okay.
And then it goes away. Like, not 2 seconds later.
Cool. Oh!
He's fast.
Bit of taking it.
It's not him.
Okay. There's no way.
It's not him. But there seems to be a Yanti Pureblood, younger teenage male standing there, and Saudi will be. And then he slips into some other language. Do you speak Abyssal?
Yes, I do.
He slips into Abyssal and says, basically arriving, this very complex word of hisses and like his face contorts, and then he's like, shortly. And he stands there like expectantly.
You will
Say
be
it.
shortly.
I'll say in Abyssal. Thank you. Just standing there. Oh! So that's how this works.
Concierge.
I reach into my vest and I pull out what to me
That rat.
looks like a gem, and to the rest of you looks like a piece of coal, and I go, here. It's very shiny, isn't it?
I will give him 20 silver pieces.
Oh no.
He's like, his eyes get like this huge saucer like thing, and he's like, good day. And you notice this plaque on the ground in your rock is about 10 feet out in the street, and a cart of horses comes stomping everywhere.
So if it's no longer mine, does it start looking like it to him? That's the question. Or does it only look like that to me?
No one looks like that to you.
So now there's a rock
Yes.
on the ground.
Yes, it used to be a shiny gem to you.
Yeah.
But to him, it looked like a rock. So, anyway, couple minutes later, we'll say 10 minutes later, anybody want to do anything while you're waiting for Saldi to arrive?
Take a bath.
Take a bath. So you're going to have to literally start the day not wearing your armor. Because if you have it on, I'm going to put you at a level of exhaustion. It is so bloody hot here.
Oh, as far as like operating within the city, I was assuming my armor
Okay.
has been off
Okay.
because
All right.
you told me that at the beginning.
Yeah, all right, good. But yeah, dwarf baths going on. Several, 10, 12 minutes later, it's I, Saldi.
Oh,
Is it just me, or does he talk fancier than he used to?
A little bit. I gotta remember his accent. Sorry.
so I'll open the door.
He seems taken back and
Nonplussed.
Pensive.
is there a I'm not sure. What can I do for you?
Well,
He's sitting outside,
come on in.
kind of like leans in a little bit.
What? I'll wait.
Bathing dwarf apparently. Wants nothing.
Oh,
Breathing
am I
more.
just like doing it out in the middle of it?
No, you're inside.
Then you smell it.
But
This is
the
the same
Yanti,
person.
they use the tongue for smell,
Oh,
and so it's kind of like wet dog to him.
Oh.
So he is.
Wet
ready.
dwarf.
So I'm filling my water skin in his bath water.
Oh,
So I just walk in and just
Convenient.
Just at the same moment in time, Gundrick is like,
You probably would do that actually.
Just for you.
I'm
buddy.
so
Alright,
glad.
but
So,
outside. Does anybody else want to go talk to him? There's a little like
Go out.
kind of alcove area.
Like a porch.
Yeah, basically.
So I mean, we'll step out on the porch. He's not going to come
Yeah,
in, you know.
He appreciates it when you close the door.
So one of our party members was hoping to get an audience with Nasiri.
the snake lady with the medicine.
Nasiri.
Well, I do believe that she's undergone a ritual and won't be available for 3 moons, at least.
Oh,
Okay.
Moon.
3 days.
no.
Month?
The full moon, yes.
Okay.
Okay, so that's out. We were also
Should we
wondering
say goodbye?
if there's anywhere we can buy supplies.
What supplies do you require?
You can leave her a note,
Healing
little boy.
potions,
You're in the back.
adventuring gear, that
That's
sort
what
of
we're
thing.
hearing about too, technically.
Well, we don't typically sell those sorts of things here.
Worth asking.
As far as healing goes, I do believe I've tasted your cleric recently.
You guys are outside. I don't hear it.
It's the choice of words.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be,
I got it too.
yeah, kind of, a little.
Yeah, no, he doesn't taste good. As I'm like sipping on the water.
Okay.
It's strange. It's like the scent has come outside somehow.
It's,
You hear like a muffle.
I mean, did anybody else wanna come out and ask?
Yeah.
Yes,
I'm
I
not
must
asking
leave
you
so
to
that I
come
don't
there.
die from.
Is the professor with us?
The professor's in his room as far as you know. You want to check on?
Yeah, because I had that
Alright.
question for him.
Saldi, before you leave though, Saldi speaks up.
I have been selected as your emissary to your people. We are currently unable to locate them, so I will be accompanying you.
Joyous!
Grand.
Yay!
Oh,
Snake
color in the face.
person!
Wait, is he talking to him?
Yes.
Oh. Quiet, you! Wow! Again.
Saldi seems to know,
Uh-huh.
but everybody here, as far as members of the group, sent out a missive saying to locate your tribe. The Gundrick Lake hammer to Irwin, or not Irwin, Urgash, or whatever. Erdrin. And then, the Royal Elven family, and so on and so forth. Basically, the letters have been sent, but they don't know where to send your letter, so this guy is going to, go find your people.
I only really okay.
He's going to serve as...
Right. You don't even know where they are.
Yeah.
If you find them, let me know.
100%.
Well...
Like, my reaction is based off of the first interaction where you said something stupid, and I'm just like, they're talking again. Shit! Whoa!
The runes no necessary.
I mean, I just like to hit him.
He does.
Alright.
I can see we'll get along fine. Perhaps we should bunk.
And you hear this long...
No.
Just
really
a
starting to
moment.
like the two.
I'm gonna take the tooth and
Yeah.
go inside.
Yes.
What?
No roommates. And once it says this last word, all the runes on it kind of flare up into this red sort of
like vibrate.
Fine, you can have your own room.
You are my servant. Okay. I sleep now.
Good night.
Exactly.
Put it away.
Okay.
Sweet dreams, my prince.
Sally, when you come out, Sally's looking a little
Like the
expectant.
angel sing- wait.
So something tells me that is not the best idea for your sake, because things that are
Then
violent.
perhaps we should bunk until we find your people. Yes, that is a most appeasing idea.
I like that one.
Are you done at your bat buds?
Yeah. I mean, I'd be quick.
Alright. So, you got.
So, are you ready to depart then?
I do have currently all of my possessions.
And he passes a little, traveling fanny pack looking thing.
Okay.
Do you have weapons?
You will protect me from danger. I am quite sure of your capabilities.
Well, I mean, there's that, but
So,
in this
yes,
situation
yes, of course we will.
that we all suddenly
We're in
die
the middle
of
the
massive
city.
We will.
explosion disease,
Explosion
how do you
disease.
protect
Remember,
yourself?
I only mimic you guys with these
I
things.
have the blessings of Nasaria.
Okay, you should be good.
Alright. Don't fuck with the Yonti guy in the middle of the city.
So, yeah, so you're ready to go, but he's still a little hesitant as the smell of wet dog is still sort of present.
No, it's fine.
He's like,
I will wait here while you gather your things.
so he's just gonna hang out on the front porch,
So
kind of lounging.
I'll go inside. I'll
Alright.
start packing.
And you wanted to go look for the professor.
Well, yeah, at some point while we were, either in the
Meandering.
evening or whatever, but
I'm gonna.
He comes out of his room now. It's 11-ish
Yeah.
in the morning. He comes out of his room. His blue hat, sideways. He looks like his hair's all crumpled. It looks like he slept in his robes. And he stands in front of you. Yes.
I was wondering when we might be able to go over. You said you had a list of what was in that treasure. All the stuff we had. If we could go over some of that at some point.
He brings out the book
Yeah.
that you guys had found, and he. Perhaps after we teleport.
Yeah, that's fine. I just wanted to bring it up.
I don't like to do such heavy reading before breakfast. And he kind of skirts past you.
And you probably shouldn't read while you walk. So yeah.
as he walks past you, you hear him mutter something, and then instantly his robes are all neat and his hair's all combed and whatnot. Yeah. Basically.
Press the digitation.
Yeah.
Pretty top A font. I think that's easy.
Yeah.
All the dirt comes off.
Yeah. So he meets everyone in the main room. I assume that's where Jade is now.
Next to the fire.
Next to the
Yes.
fire. I assume that's where Gundrick has finally made himself
Sleeping.
to.
Drawing my
You're
ears.
packed now. You're packed. You got everything.
Yeah.
Got everything. Professor's there. Jade Shoe's ready. He's all like, "Well, shall we teleport? Yes, yes.
Yes.
This is exciting. This is very exciting." And as a procession through the town, you guys start exiting.
So didn't we not want the snake people to know about the thing with the...
No, we didn't, but it's kind of unavoidable now.
But there are boats, right, that go places?
The point was to get there faster, so.
So,
End of the world.
One problem at a time.
my question, my question,
Coming with us.
I guess out of
He's gonna
character
stay
is,
here.
could we
He's got
fool
those
this
things
Yonti
right.
into thinking that Ruxpin is the one who teleports us?
You're not. I mean,
He's a mage.
You're gonna have to try to discover that as you spend time with him. I mean, what you know, he's a historian, so he's probably very smart.
Anything.
So anything that you come up with, has got to be able to fool a smart person. But he's going with you, and you're not exactly sure how he reports or anything like that. You're not sure of his mission. You don't right now. Your character doesn't even know that technically the auntie's going with you.
That's true.
That's true, I thought you
may not.
Bathing.
Yeah, and he's waiting outside. So as you guys leave, you'll notice a Yanti kind of fall in line
Yeah.
with everyone else.
Is
And
anyone
you
gonna
recognize
be-
him as Selby,
Yeah.
the royal historian.
So see, I almost wish that I knew that he was talking about me, because I'd be like, oh, you're still with us. I thought my stench would have driven you off.
What?
But I
Be like, oh man, do I feel better after that bath?
yeah,
Woo!
that's pretty much it. Yeah. So sitting there, as I'm walking, I got all my stuff, and I'm basically just taking my beard and just kind of twisting the water
Yes,
out of it.
yes.
Walking.
And every time you do, you hear this from Salty.
But he's up front, like, because I want to be.
And then he all of a sudden he like seems to walk a little faster, so he's in front of you.
So look over at Urgash and be like, what's wrong with Stan? He seems uncomfortable.
I think he has gas.
Did anybody bother to wake me up?
Yeah.
You're awake, you're packing.
You're not going to lay there by the fire. As soon as people start filing out, so you go with them. Alright, so you guys, a line of strange things walking through the city. Make your way back to the edge of the town in which the city is buried underneath of a hill, and you guys broke into a facility, started the security system. You could walk up, put your hand on the door, the professor just... And then you guys go in, follow the tunnel down deep, find the broken part. When you get to that particular broken part, the professor, as you show up, will hand you the string and actual ball bearings that you had set as a sort of noise device, and he says, I think the security of this place is adequate enough. You can have these back.
Well, we left the door open last time.
I do believe it seals after a period of time, at least. And he pulls out this book, and he's like, "Where is that?"
Did we actually have breakfast yet?
Yeah, you guys ate breakfast.
A little bit of D&D.
What about second breakfast?
He's still standing there flipping. He's all like, "I just can't find that page that." Oh, you're all waiting on me. Closes the book, puts it away. Starts heading back down inside the actual lower levels of the facility. Get to the big room with the lightning pillars,
The Simon chain.
and he's all like, "Positions, everyone! Positions!
Yeah,
Positions! Positions!"
Where are those?
So you guys fan out to the room, and he walks to the first tower. And doom, the crystal lights up, and then crystal over by Urgash lights up, and he runs over and touches that. He goes through the whole process. You guys run around. There was one time that you were really close to not making it when Gundrick nearly fell in the hole that Urgash dug. But luckily,
I didn't
There's
know
a
that.
lot of expletives coming
Jake
out.
had dashed over and hit him.
yeah, J-Cat got there.
No.
Yeah, I would have been safe. I'm in the hole.
Yeah, you would have been safe. But
I can't believe it took us that long to figure that out.
yeah, exactly. So you get the doors slide open on the central building silently, and inside lights up, and you see the circle, and he's just, the eyes on Saldi are like, he's just taking this all in, but not saying anything.
He's never seen this before.
Yeah.
Those hurt, don't touch them.
So I look over at Salty like ancient cities, right?
I'm gonna tell him.
He's all like, indeed, this, as he's like inspecting the walls of the central chamber, will be in the newest edition of our history.
So if he gets close enough, I'm gonna reach up behind him and just lightly snap him with a shocking grasp. After I told him not to get too close because they hurt to touch.
He's gonna prank him.
Okay, roll a hit.
Oh no! That's a natural one.
So you're gonna miss and touching yourself.
So you reach out your hand to like deliver this shock to the back of his neck. At this moment, you can actually see a snake kind of slither out from underneath of his thing.
So cute.
And it flares up into this like tooth thing, and it snap as it bites your hand. You take 10 piercing damage from this snake.
Well, I'm done for the day. I literally can't help anymore because that puts me at 29 and I can't heal from you.
Wow.
I have no use for the rest of the day.
You feel this surge of like energy kind of emanate from the tooth, and the snake withdraws, and like you sense that it's actually staring at the tooth, and Saldi hasn't moved like this entire time. You know, and then the snake just kind of like slithers back underneath, and he continues on, and he turns and he looks at you, and yes.
Don't touch those, they'll shock you.
Thank you for the advice.
And he continues along his way.
Shall we go then?
Yeah.
The professor's standing in the middle of the circle. He's got the book open, okay, and he's all like, "Is everyone within the circle?"
We are now.
Head count. All right, so
Everybody gets inside the circle.
very
All right.
okay.
You,
I crawled out of the hole and get inside the circle.
hang on. You guys, you are flying near the Evermores, okay? Your crew and your captain have been recruited to carry out a specific task, okay? They have arrived at the Evermores, at which point in time the captain has told you, "Dear lass, could you go below and see if the benefactor is ready to depart? I fear, though, that it may be some time till we see you again."
Alright, I will see if he's ready to go.
Alright, go down to the cabin, which is actually the captain's cabin that he's kicked the captain out of. He's not happy about that at this point in time.
Not much.
Knock on the door opens, and standing there is this very, very tall, regal, just elf, very haughty-taughty sort of looking guy. He's got a bag, and behind him on the ground, you can see what appears to be a backpack. And he steps like between you and the thing, and he gets my things, please.
I'm going to sigh very, very quietly. Whatever you say.
Alright.
I'm gonna pick up the bag.
Alright. He kind of like grandiosely strides to like the biggest open space on the ship. All the crew really despise this guy because he looks down upon every single one of them. But they understand he owns a 51% stake in the ship right now, so it's not anything that they can do about it.
Not someone you really want to pick a fight with.
Yeah. He has. Their contract does have a specific set of time, and they know if they just bide the time, then they get the ship, kind of thing.
Yep.
He steps out. It's getting near morning. He reaches into his belt, grabs what appears to be a piece of charcoal, and he starts drawing this big circle right around you two and all of his possessions. He's drawing the professor where you guys are. He's got the book open. He starts chanting some arcane language that's coming out of this. Things like that. The circle around you guys lights up light blue, and you can actually see kind of like this light that starts to like transverse the entire circle. Each one of the rooms in the circle lighting up as it, kind of like starts to go around. And he flips the page real quick, continues to read. He finishes drawing all these different circles, and he lays out several different things on the ship, and he kneels down, brings open his, what is his spell book, and he starts reciting an incantation. Several minutes pass the incantation. The walls themselves where you guys are sort of have a blue gleam the blackness actually starts to brighten and turn to blue. And you realize, you can hear this sort of thing going on right now, and you're all like,
in the walk of
is this thing gonna shock the shit out of us?
Yeah.
He's chanting over there.
Hand on my sword right now.
You're like, okay.
Maybe this will act the light you brought and saved me.
Yeah.
Fergash is just watching the light as it goes past.
Yeah.
Stay right in the center.
Kind of, that's the effect that all of you seem to be having right now as it's just going faster and faster and faster. His rhythmic chanting, he's rocking back and forth in place, casting this spell, and, oh God! Everything vanishes around you. You got streaks of blue light, so on and so forth, the whole Stargate through a... going plaid. Who wants to map? Who wants to be our map person? Cartographer. We're actually going to require a cartographer.
We have space on the table here, so one of us can do it.
Okay. So
I have crap paper if you need it.
Crap paper.
Crap paper.
It's bad. It's very bad. Crap paper.
I knew I should have brought my oversized tablet of graph paper.
Nah, this is
Well, I also have graph paper in my car.
well,
I have graph paper and have an extra sheet in the back.
I've got a whole tablet of it, so.
look at that! Look at that! Paper everywhere.
You can be our note-taking cartographer.
Alright. I'm going to draw the initial room
And it's gone.
just for sake of like where to
That's how it's
worry.
gonna go.
Best thing ever.
Yeah, yeah. The DM taketh and
No
giveth.
more.
A little more often.
I give it
and take it.
So there's actually
Hey,
going on right now. The guys from South you can donate to a charity and have a great chance to win. You get a tour of the South Park stages, hang out with them for a day, and they draw the character for you, and you do the rest of the thing, and you're a permanent resident of South Park.
That's pretty sweet.
Wait, you're actually in charge.
And the best part, their charity is an awesome charity.
That's pretty sweet.
Letter on your name is Y, right?
V.
There is a Y in there. But
It'd be great if you won that and you were just actually good enough at voice acting to where they're just like, you know what? You did so well. We kind of want to keep you as a permanent person. Be like, sure, that'll be my
Done.
full-time job.
With everybody. Yep. And two. Yep. And then
2 freeze.
And if there was singing involved, then
that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you all appear in the same room because magic. So on and so forth.
I love magic.
Fairly large sized room that has a teleportation circle in the middle of it. You all arrive with the professor and Saldi in the middle of the circle. You arrive with your professor right in front of this door.
fun.
When you arrive, when the group actually arrives, you look over and you see you guys, fling, and you are in a room that's sort of got the same sort of blue sheen going on right now, so it's lit from the inside, essentially. The floor is stone, ceiling is a good 20 feet above you. The same blue circle is still glowing, the teleportation circle that you guys saw. There is some blue circle glowing over there. When you appear, you appear, and then the light comes and there's a group of people standing there, basically. You all see 2 humanoids standing across the room from you, looking at you. Behind them is a door. One of them is male, one of them is female. One of them is clearly a drow. One of them is clearly what appears to be a high elf. Very, very stiff-backed. You would recognize the presence
my eyes are
as
all wide right now.
you would as soon as this figure shows up, you recognize him as one of the most talked about intellectuals of elven society. He is like the bee's knees if you are a smart elf. And he is standing across the room from you.
Sound like having a fangirl moment right
Yeah. You see a woman dressed in what type of armor?
No armor.
No armor, but she does have a very nice sword. Very regal presence from her, and a familiar face. You instantly recognize the familiar face there. You see a dwarf in no armor, or did you put it on?
Oh, I put it on when we
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
My weapon is also drawn, because
Okay.
they're both elves. I don't necessarily like elves too much, except for her.
One of them's a drow.
And one of them's a drow.
Yep.
Yeah,
So-
the girl has a long sword out.
So he's got this big cudgel-looking thing. Sort of next to him is what you would surmise as potentially a zombie.
I have a
Legit.
cat
And there is a cat.
glaring at the drow.
There is a large house cat thing on 4 paws over there, and next to it is a halfling.
Yes. With
His hand on Kitty's shoulder.
One hand on Kitty's shoulder, one hand on the hilt of the sword.
glaring at the drow is what I'm doing.
The professor and Saul.
Yeah, so a Yanti, pureblood,
She'd
humanoid-looking
recognize
balls
that, she's
thing, and then a figure kind of with curly brown hair and a blue hat that always sits askew. It's literally like your typical wizard hat, but it's got none of the stars on it. But it always sits askew on him. And he's got this big book. And like the moment that you guys like look up, the high elf that you went with and the professor that you guys went with, both of them both take their books at the exact same moment and go boom. It kind of like breaks the silence for a moment.
I was waiting for you to finish, but like when Gundrick sees the drow, and he draws his weapon, he'll basically be like, "No sudden moves, drow, or I'll put you down."
I'm gonna put my arm out.
So I notice her, I recognize her.
Yes.
I'm gonna lower the sword a little bit and give her a bow to my lady.
Nice to see you again.
Where have you been?
He's confused.
Oh,
He still has his weapon out, but it's not
so
even an
many
So
attack.
my face goes from glaring to
He's very
Have
confused.
you heard of Schultz?
The drow
The drow.
and
No.
Drow and Lady Pendragon are talking to each other like they seem to be old friends.
In Elvish.
No, I got that. Alright.
I've been sent to find you.
The professor's all like, you two, since you're near the back, you hear this.
Oh shit.
From the professor.
I know exactly who this is immediately.
So the very grandiose elf steps forward, gives you this very, very formal bow. Your Lady Pendragon?
I am.
It is an honor
Freaking
to
out
meet
inside.
you.
He
Damn it! The thing I didn't do is look up that name I sent you.
Tris Dorn.
No, the name of the professor that I sent her, because I had an actual name. It's
Do you want the long?
Zeliopothus.
Okay.
What the?
He introduces himself as Professor Zeliopothus. However, you may all refer to me as Professor X.
Oh my god.
I had
Professor
the same
number
reaction.
10? See you guys.
Can't take it. Meaning too hard.
We already got a teddy bear. Now a guy in a wheelchair.
No, he's standing.
I know.
Yeah.
This was pre-injury.
Or at least he's making you think he's standing.
Because magic.
Because magic. I never understood that anyway.
Whoa, I see what you did there. Understood.
Professor X.
He seems. You notice that, like, you've been around him enough to kind of understand, like, he doesn't get jokes. He doesn't get teasing. And he gets this look on his face that everyone on the crew has finally figured out is confusion. But it looks like he's constipated. So, like, he's kind of got that look on his face right now as he's, like, making eye contact with the man in the blue hat.
He's Sheldon.
Has he got a bit of the scurvy? What's going on?
Is it very clear that he's looking at him from Urgash's perspective, or is it possible that he's looking at Urgash?
Yes, he's looking past you.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna turn and say, "This is Professor Ruxpin. Have you met?"
Professor Ruxpin steps forward, takes his hat off with his head, which, you know, he really never does. And he's all like, only as fellow scholars have I heard of the exploits of Professor Zythopius and the studies of his. He takes a step forward, away from Urgash.
You're trying to grab his hat.
He wants that hat so bad.
This is the group I wrote you about, sir. And he kind of like gestures to all of you, and then he is all like, we do have an addition that I didn't have a chance to mention. And he motions to Saldi, you know, and Professor, the look kind of like fades from his face for a second as he looks around.
He's trying to grab.
He encouraged me. Good roll. That is a 14.
So you're getting like really, really close to the hat, and the professor's focused on what he's doing, and like the point of the hat is hanging kind of like down here at this point in time. And you're like close, and then you swear it moves at the last second as you go to grab it, and then it goes back on its head.
Fabulous.
Fabulous.
Now I really want it.
It moved. I will say to Professor X, yes, this is Salty. He is an emissary from the mountains.
So very salty.
I have heard of the royal decree where an emissary will be provided. And that to you is all like the best joke you could ever play on your parents. The way he's saying this right now, you understand that. It's all like, good job, way to get at mom and dad sort of thing with this. He says, well, what are you doing here? And why do you have a zombie?
I knew it! I knew I wasn't the only one!
Perhaps he is their pet.
Close enough.
I think I'm the pet, considering I'm a.
He's like looking at you, looking back at the group, and just being all like, she's far smarter than I gave her credit for.
Again, very quiet sigh.
So, we received news that a volcano appeared in Neverwinter, and we were on our way to investigate.
And speaking of here, where are we?
Yes, that too.
Oh, the professor's all like, I didn't,
Yeah, you didn't mention that.
no, I might have forgotten. And it seems to be like, kind of like letting his idle down look on his face right now. Totally like that. And the other elf says, good Sir Halfling, you happen to be in the center, the very center of the Evermores.
Which is?
About several weeks' ride east of Neverwinter.
Okay. Oh, those Evermores. Yeah.
I can pull up a map if you guys want a more specific idea of where you actually wound up at. I don't mind.
So unrelated.
Yeah.
To current situation. Did we already order pizza, or are we still getting money?
We haven't yet.
We haven't yet. We can feel free to take a break and do so, because I sense that you're hungry.
No, I saw the money on the table, and I was
Is
like,
it-
That's the
it's-
pizza pile.
okay,
The
I was like,
pizza
is
pie.
that going to be enough,
Oh.
or should we do
Well, I threw
more?
in a 20, so that should cover at least one large.
Because I also have a 20, but I mean,
More pizzas.
All right, so
I have an excuse to overeat on
this-
pizzas, so.
this is the Evermores.
And you're obviously
So you guys wound up in the center of the Evermores, which is right here,
That's not so bad. It's like a big
and
forest?
Neverwinter. No, it's a big swamp.
Oh.
A big
okay.
huge
Swamp.
swamp.
it's a big swamp.
Yeah. And this is where you guys are.
you doing in my swamp?
Because
But
we see an overstayed
Oh, is that what he is? Is that what he's going to do? Okay.
so the funny thing is that you guys were basically here, and you guys got to here.
They go through the swamp.
So it did work quite well to get you guys
As
closer.
close as we could.
Yes.
So you said that they had bags. Is she carrying the bags, or are they on the ground?
Do you have to put the bag down? Yeah, I assume.
I've got his.
So she's got a
Carry
backpack
on.
and what appears to be another backpack.
Oh, listen.
Okay. So I'm just gonna like wander forward and like start grabbing the other bag.
This
Smack
zombie,
his hands.
this zombie is coming at you. He smells rancid. There is just all sorts of random shit sticking out of this vest that he wears. His eyes are sunken in, and he's walking up.
2 steps back. I'm gonna hold out my sword.
A course adjust and then like walk sideways and then like try and reach for the bag anyway.
I'm gonna keep my sword trained on him.
I don't think she needs help with the bags.
I've got
Aw.
So
I don't think Sir Elvin his stuff tainted by
as it's
mistake.
right in your face,
Uh,
as it has been openly drawn, those of you standing around notice that she is wielding an almost exact duplicate of the blade that currently resides on Lady Pendragon's hip. However, all the motif on this particular blade is black, like it's got an onyx gem rather than a moonstone set into
Moonstones
the
are
hill.
purple, right? Color.
Moonstones are like pearlish color.
Kind of opalescent.
Yeah,
Pearlescent, yeah.
basically. But yes, you knowing that what yours is and the fact that she's wielding one, this is a new development.
Okay.
It's the fact that you see one on her hip is a new development. Okay?
So would I recognize it just from the hilt?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they
Sword
are
reunion,
pretty much
yay.
crafted the exact same way.
I was gonna have my
Individual
hand on it,
jewels.
so
The
it's-
runes are what make them unique. The runes that show up on each blade.
Get everybody, all the Moonblade builders together, just have a council of elven badasses.
Well, there's quite a few. But they're
It could be a big council.
Very, very big table.
lots of
Fellowship of
arguing.
the Moonblade.
Yes. But anyway, so you guys have teleported here. Professor X tells you, I am currently running the definitive
Which one?
works on Earth-related Fey creatures.
The
This will be
That's right.
one of the finest resource materials that you could possibly hope for.
Did you ask which one?
He did.
Oh,
He said
I
the.
was-
Well, he said these. I want to know which one.
oh, I thought you were asking which
Fine.
professor was saying it.
It was
No.
a joke that nobody allowed into the table got.
Yeah. I got it, but
Alright.
the professor
I was
completely
listening.
ignored it. That's why he hesitated for that second there. But yeah, no, he says, so the professor, he's like, Professor Ruxpin, please, as two colleagues, perhaps we can share knowledge. And the Professor Ruxpin kind of like,
He just called me a colleague.
like get this like really super excited look on his face, and he's all like, "Well, yes. Why don't I fill you in as to what we've been up to?" And the two professors kind of go off and start talking.
Isn't he the one who stole your hat?
They're over there.
Yeah.
They're-
I say it loud as I can. Like in this room, so it's just loud.
So why don't you guys formally introduce yourselves as characters, so on and so forth. So
Huh.
left to right, right to left. Anybody want to go first?
I shape my weapon, by the way.
Thank you for that.
Well, I mean,
Seeger Stout Belly.
Yes.
Halfling. Urgash Toothbearer,
Corpse.
Asmere looking corpse. Jade Shoe, Tabaxi, Gundrick Lighthammer, dwarf.
Valkyra?
Val, Valkyra, right now Valkyra doesn't have a last name, I guess.
It's alright, no one knows my first name. Lady Pendragon.
It's Lady.
But
Point.
Your first name's Lady.
I
Gundrick would actually say that.
I know, it's well played.
Lady Pendragon?
Lady.
Yeah.
Lady is my title.
So you,
What's a title?
It's a little tip. Like Tooth Fairy.
so the Tabaxi speaks up for the first time ever. The large looking house cat just spoke in common.
Also, the corpse spoke.
And then it waves.
Trevor, you travel with strange companions.
Says the crowd.
This is a running.
Yes, the crowd.
bedfellows.
Not the first time we've heard this.
I'm
That's
just-
specifically that sentence. Yes.
Wait, we still have the snake person with us, right?
Yeah, Saldi's just taking in a lot of things.
I finally didn't mimic someone. I mean, how does it feel about that?
He seems to be as shocked as she is.
Honestly. That wasn't the only ruse we were
He's better at mimicking. I've been training him.
Are you sure
So,
about that?
Saldi said, "You doing deception."
That's a 12.
Saldi says, "Certainly you have." And he kind of like turns and rolls his eyes.
That's your team.
I rolled a
right
5. I had a +7. So there's that.
Deception, inception. What would that be? Because he just
Insight.
deceived him.
Insight.
Conceived.
Okay.
Inside on the Solly's part, yeah.
Mhm.
He's fine.
So you
Anyway,
really
but
counter-
there is a door across the room from you guys. Next to the door, right about this level, is an impression of a hand. Humanoid-looking hand.
Humanoid or dwarfish again?
This one looks more human than dwarf.
Can I get a hand over here?
Like this.
So I'm.
Well, I can't
I'm
reach it.
gonna turn.
Oh, okay.
Nice sword.
Just walk over and you get down on one knee. There you go, laddie. Right down on the knee.
Perfect. Are you gonna put your hand in there?
Yeah.
Okay. So you take 5 points of damage.
Super.
And are healed for 10.
Okay.
Ooh.
So you healed 5.
So, but I mean, when you first put your hand in there, you could feel this spike just, and the door goes, and when you take your hand back, there's this hole on your hand, and then like the door frame glows, and the wound on your hand closes, and you feel slightly better.
So I'll walk up and put my hand on it.
You gonna walk up and put your hand on it.
Nothing.
On the pad.
No, I've already opened it.
Oh, okay. You didn't say, I didn't actually open it.
He feels slightly better.
I feel like it would be safe to assume that because the dwarves made the other end of our teleportation journey, like that machine, whatever, yeah,
Simon.
that whole thing. That's why the hand on the door was dwarven in nature, and then this one is human in nature. So there's probably a
Do you want to do like a stone cutting to see if you can figure out
Yeah,
the particular room that you're in?
yeah, sure.
Mhm.
It's just kind of surmising what
No, I'm gonna get a drink.
a possible, speculating basically.
Okay, sure.
So I get double my efficiency bonus to history.
It's gonna be +6 plus your wisdom
Well, I also
or
get
intelligence.
I also So
really +7.
wow, that's a Garbo.
But you get advantage.
What'd you roll?
Do I?
For stone cutting.
I thought it was double
it's,
my.
it's the
proficiency
double
bonus.
proficiency bonus. That's not double
Yeah,
proficiency
so-
and advantage because
Yeah,
the
that's
double
just
just
Ellen,
paladin.
that's what it is.
Right.
I got 11.
11? 11.
11.
As far as you can tell here, whether they were human, whether they were half elves, humanoids carved this, there's no particular style that you can pick out, unfortunately.
But I know that there's not dwarf, probably.
Yeah, it's not dwarf, but it's not elf, and it's that's the two. You know, it's not dwarf, it's not elf. Who else carved it? You're all like, I really don't fucking know. I wasn't here.
Something I don't know. Something good to learn.
But the door did flash blue, and well, it didn't open, but it did. The door frame shoot blue.
Did it close after he went through?
Well, you know,
Shove.
it's
Oh,
it actually swings in.
Super.
When
I
the
forgot to
door
look at the corners and I show him the hole in my hand.
when the door opens, the light blue glow that has kind of been going on in the room sort of dims a little bit, and you can tell that like towards the top of the room it seems to be getting a little darker and like slowly sort of sinking, kind of like the lights are going out, sort of thing. The room beyond is not lit.
I can see just fine.
Yes, you can see fine. How do you want to describe this room to him? What sort of thing do you want to give the cartographer?
Okay. So, looking from the door that you're coming in, the room extends 10 feet to your right, 25 feet to your left, and there's a wall 20 feet in front of you.
Did 20 feet in front?
Yes.
now.
Well, wait, there's
Did
a
I say
little.
left and right backwards? No, she's got it.
So there is a
10 feet to the left of the door on the wall in front of you, it stops. There's a corner there where the room extends on the left side.
Okay, right
But you
there.
can't see that from the doorway.
Yep, and then this wall doesn't actually exist, but from what you guys can't see.
We can't see that.
Yeah.
Yes,
And then right, I'll just put this on there rather than try to tell them that this thing
It's
is.
a lot easier that way.
Sometimes it is easier, but there does appear to be some sort of a stone bench in the room. I'm just doing it on purpose. Every time she goes to reach for it, I gotta find some excuse to try to take it from her.
I'm gonna go sit on it.
I'm gonna keep moving.
Okay.
You're
Alright.
right, vision, right?
Cat
Yes.
moves past me.
So it goes in there 10 feet. And you guys can see another door in the center of the wall. And what appears to be some sort of literally visible, translucent barrier in front of another door with another handprint.
That reminds me of what the other thing had on it.
So you go up and look at the stone tablet that's
Bench thing.
bench thing there. There appears to be a section right in the middle of the table that's raised up about 6 inches, and there's 5 circular depressions in it. All around, right? 20 circular depressions in it. 20 circular depressions in it.
That's a lot more complicated.
And then there's a section that's kind of carved into the table itself that's just a little bit lower, and there seems to be this row that goes all the way around the table of these softball size looking orbs in that trench.
Are
A
they
lot
all
of
the
play
same color?
trouble.
Are you gonna go check them out?
I found orbs.
What are you guys gonna use for a light source? Because the room behind you is getting
Well, once
Dark
that
room.
room starts getting dark, I'll light up.
You got a sweaty
Stingray.
okay.
And
I'll cast light on my weapon.
All right, so the blue and the actual light. Good. Once the light comes up, you guys can see that there's some sort of writing on the door behind the translucent barrier.
take a look. Where are the professors?
They're coming.
Okay.
They walk in, but they're just talking with each other. They're kind of looking around.
Up in the corner.
Yeah. They'll follow you around and help if you specifically need them to, but trying to manage Saldi and 2 professors right at this moment in time, even with a co-DM, is going to be a little bit difficult, so they're just kind of on autopilot.
Making sure they didn't just like teleport.
No, they'll follow you through. One of the 2 is actually here to study something.
Alright, we're here, bye.
Yeah.
Your
We helped you get your eye.
Rock's gonna do that though.
So can I walk over as well, like the writing?
Okay.
What language does it look like?
Common? Yeah, it's common. What does it say on there, Justin?
When you look at the writing, you actually realize that it's not really language. It looks like a set of equations.
Oh, right.
Arithmetic.
There's 4 lines.
A squared plus B squared equals C squared.
There's 4 lines on this door. You guys want some scrap paper or you want it on? What is it? Or guys you like, I don't care.
Numbers?
No,
What
it's
numbers?
Arithmetic, my mortal enemy.
Vertical or horizontal?
Horizontal.
4 horizontal lines. The first
Top to
line,
Yes.
Sorry, go ahead.
5 plus 5 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 equals 8. Second line, 4 plus 4 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1 equals 0. Third line,
I hate you.
4 plus 1 plus 5 plus 3 plus 5 equals 10. And the last line says 5 plus 3 plus 5 plus 3 plus 5 equals, and it looks like it's been scratched out or like there's a blank on the door.
Damn it.
18 goes to
Pattern
I can
recognition,
see
you
that.
assholes.
12 goes to 0.
Well, what makes you think I came up with this?
I don't know, the fact that you guys were here, like, cavorting the entire time we were here last night.
It was not the entire time.
And you came home giggling?
All but 3 minutes of it.
I didn't do that either. Lies.
So there's orbs over in this table, right?
True. Yes.
Are they shiny?
Yes.
Don't touch anything.
Grab.
They're
No.
They're
Go my head.
We're gonna take cover. No.
They're clear orbs, but they kind of have this iridescent sheen to them when light hits
Okay. Yeah. She said don't touch them. My hand is like around one right now.
I'm taking coverage.
Hey.
I've got one like this. Right as you said don't touch it, I'm like, why not?
We don't know what they do yet. Remember the electrocution?
Well, I haven't been exploded yet.
But if you pick it up, you might.
Because I'm taking
I'm
cover.
gonna twirl it in a little socket.
You find it's really well balanced. It'll spin. Oh. It spins for 10 seconds and then slowly comes to a stop.
Oh no.
Start going around the table.
Our guy's just running around the table, taking his finger and spinning them things.
Whatever. Keeps him busy.
I'm not just gonna get in your way when you go to grab orbs. And also spin them in the
Any
sockets. on the
suggestions?
table.
Any
Are they different colors or are they all the same?
They're all
do
exactly
an investigation?
No, there's that.
Well, he just gave it
That's
up.
a natural 1 minus 1.
So they
To you, some of them look like rocks. Some of them gems.
so the fact that they're all shiny because they spin, the light that reflects off of them kind of puts you into this trance in which you fall asleep.
So it's more a hypnotic, just kind of like
Yeah.
walking back, looking at them.
With a natural 1 minus 1s, you're all like,
Hypnotic mind.
Pretty
Yay!
lies.
Peace.
And Urgash spends the rest of his days twirling orbs.
You're overthinking it. It's not that hard.
I probably am.
I was talking to the one giving me the dirty looks.
Ready?
That too.
I thought that was
I'm famous for overthinking things, so
because all of that added together equals 16 divided by 2.
that's what I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then,
And then
Yeah,
you
but
can't do
then-
anything.
that doesn't work for anything on the second line, so.
Well, that's
Or the third,
times
or
4.
We did do that right? The math adds up on that. Okay.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure we didn't give them false information because that would definitely
Yeah,
put this into
sorry.
a whole new sort of.
No, I double checked it.
Sure.
Is the
earlier.
last one 21?
I double checked it earlier because I thought of a way that it.
There are 20 recesses in the top palette. In the top
Oh, so
place.
maybe that's the answer.
Okay, so how many in
20.
each row?
I mean,
So on the table, you said there's 20.
There's a raised area in the middle of the table, 6 inches higher than the rest, that has 20 empty depressions that look like they could possibly fit the orbs, and then the ring around the table is just full of orbs. There's way more than you could possibly
But
fit.
is it just 20 in one row?
no, it's 2 rows of 10. It looks like.
Are there any, the orbs themselves, are they just completely smooth, or are there any sort of,
Do an investigation check
okay.
or perception for you.
Well, do that instead.
Since he's running around spinning them,
You
Wants
you
to
can come
double check.
back. I don't want to punish you.
Well, actually, I was looking at the pizza.
Oh, do we want to stop in order?
18.
Do we want to stop in
Sure.
order? I got 2 sures.
Resolve that.
18. Okay.
There, sure.
So from that sort of investigation, what you can glean off of all the different orbs is they seem to be perfectly identical in every way, size, shape, and form. With that, we're going to take a break so that we can order pizza and get food. You guys can feel free to
No more of that.
It's back live, so that means you guys get to stay away from this side of the table for a little bit while now the pizza's on its way and whatnot. So you do have two very, very intelligent people that's just off in the corner, like talking with each other. So, but you know, has our party tapped all of their potential
No, they haven't.
solving problem skills?
You know, plus we want to go their bro time. You know?
So I've got my clockwork fish in one of my pockets in that orb.
Uh-huh.
I'm just gonna stop that and like put it on the table.
It's slightly too big to fit in the invitation.
So it's just kind of like sitting there.
Yeah. It doesn't spin as well.
Yeah, I didn't think it would.
Yeah, it's
But
more
now
like,
it's
it's more like.
No, I'm gonna leave it there and stare.
So there's 2 lines of 10.
Do an investigation on the table.
Okay, yeah.
I'm not looking for exactly.
Well, they said concerned of the thing
Yeah, see if
exploding.
it seems trapped in any way.
That would be a perception.
What is the
That?
number?
Roll a 1.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
There's a
it's
table.
a really nice
Yeah.
table.
Table.
There's a fish on it now.
Yeah, the fish, you're pretty certain that there was a trap, it would have gone off when you put the fish on it.
So what if we just try to put a ball in one of the depressions and see what happens? Because I mean, ultimately, it looks like that's what's going to happen anyway.
I mean,
So we could just start putting them in there randomly while we still try to figure out the puzzle and see if something happens.
or we could just put in one at a time until
That's what I
something
mean.
happens.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I mean.
Oh yeah. But it,
Where was
You
what
use
these equations right?
arithmetic
On the door, behind the glowing
barrier.
barrier.
So
I would assume that we have to get the puzzle right in order to lose that barrier in order to get to the door.
you'd assume that, but it doesn't necessarily mean that those are even related to this puzzle, to be honest.
They could be completely different.
Yeah, because they are behind the barrier and the puzzle is not. So it's like,
So
last time we got the door to open by throwing something through.
yeah, that's right. Is it the same barrier as? Well, that
this
one's
one's
like a
friend.
fog.
This one's.
I'm gonna go and touch the barrier.
you walk up and it feels like solid wall. Nothing like hurts you or anything like that. It
But it's
doesn't
nice and
flare up,
solid.
but like you pushing on it and you've probably with your training heard a specific type of spell called like Wall of Force. It's much higher than you're able to cast, but you would suspect that this is exactly what the teacher was describing in studies. This would be a Wall of Force.
Well, everyone is in anticipation of what's going to happen to her when she touches it. We're watching her on the ball table.
Okay.
He'll flares up and zaps me.
No,
Thanks, jerk.
Hi, I'm the one that does the zapping here.
she reaches up to touch the wall. You time it just right. She's all like, "I think I remember this from school. I think it's the Wall of Force."
You notice a distinct lack of explosions from the table.
Yes, or anything.
I'm just going to
Well, that's good. It didn't explode. It didn't zap me. It's okay.
There's a ball on the table now.
So you guys, you turn around. You guys are doing what? You Urgash or not Urgash? Gundrick and Lady Pendragon. What do you guys do?
Slamming my head against the table because this is making my brain hurt.
Every time he does that, all the orbs clack.
Sounds like a very dwarven thing to do.
Yes.
How many orbs are there?
40.
Way more than
50.
20, so 40.
Oh,
There's only 20
So you
rotations.
said 2, yes?
Yes.
So take another orb and pick the other one up. Try and set them down at the same time. I'm out of ideas. I stole your idea and it didn't work.
I noticed.
How about we put one into each of the slots?
I was leaning towards that eventually.
How about we
but
try
we could
8
just try
in
it.
the first row and 10 in the second row?
18. Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah, because there's 18 on that.
There's 2 numbers we can See?
that we know are there. Yeah.
So let's try that.
And then if that doesn't work, we'll
So
put the last two.
who's gonna put 18 orbs in? Is everybody gonna try kind of chip in?
Sure.
Sure.
Is everybody clunk, 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 clunk? Get 2 holes left. Everybody stands there in anticipation, looking at the force field.
I'm gonna pick
You
2
tap
up
on
and
it.
put them.
Pick 2 more up. Tink.
I'm gonna tap it again.
Yeah, I'm gonna tap it again.
Still there.
It's
Go over to the door and say 2. Nothing? Yeah.
this giggle comes from Stingray.
Hey, you got any
20.
ideas, jackass?
77.
Now we're just going to the random number vehicle.
11D3.
What?
My favorite.
42.
What were you? You got to all the 20
All
orbs
those are
set
full
up.
now.
Huh?
All the holes are full
Yeah.
now, currently.
Maybe we should put the
Okay.
numbers that we have answers to.
We've tried
We
2
did that.
orbs, 18 orbs,
We had
20
10
orbs.
and 8.
So, have we tried just 8 on the table?
You have not tried that
At
yet.
one point during that, there was probably just 8.
I
We were
think the
putting
idea
them all
was you
on
said
there.
they were all
For
fully
1
on, so
second,
you could've-
there was probably
Yeah.
8 on there.
So let's
But
pull
maybe it
all
has
of them
to be
off.
longer than a second.
So how are you pulling them off?
2.
Come up, set them down.
Well, they don't scoop like that.
no.
We're
Pick them up, set
we're
them
gonna
down.
empty the row of, or the bottom row first.
You know,
Wait,
bottom row, who's
wait.
we?
Wait a minute. Continue, actually. Don't ignore the wait a minute. I'm looking for something.
I'm just gonna like
No
grab
cell
2 at a
phones.
time.
Oh,
No cell phones.
I was trying to think of Mancala.
I know.
That's
Uh,
common stuff for Mancala.
No cell
I
phones.
immediately went, no, they crashed into the table. That's why I wanted to put multiple in each.
Yeah.
He's starting to look all shifty and nervous over there.
No, just
Yeah. So I'm just
keeping
gonna
it honest for now. Okay.
Grab
Your
two.
adventurer doesn't have access to Google.
Oh
Man,
man.
it's more from my player thought process.
There's
What are you
16
doing?
wells,
grabbing
not
2 of
all
them?
nine.
Grabbing 2.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and pull them off the table.
Out of the 20, so now we're down to 18.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
you're back to 18. You did
Back to
that.
18.
Yay!
I'm just gonna keep going
So
until
you
there's
got
8.
2 more.
You've earned
Are
an
you-
achievement.
Yeah.
Are you
Bowling
waiting in
ball
between to see if anything
favorites.
happens, or are you just pulling them all off?
Well, I just went clack, clack. I'm gonna step over, so I'm in front of the ones that I'm grabbing.
Okay, so there's 16 on the table now?
Yeah.
The bird.
You let the zombie solve it.
By happenstance.
By happenstance.
I don't know how they were gonna figure it out without involving the professor, so. Yeah, I'm confused too. I don't.
Okay, so.
So time out.
Okay.
What the hell?
So Justin, I believe's idea behind this was based off of a 6-sided die.
If you
It's-
roll 5,
You roll 5,
then you
6-sided.
random thing, and then you take all the odds. You have 3 and 1 is 4. You subtract the number of odd dice, so you get 2 as the answer. If you did that with those, you come up with 16 on that last
You don't
one.
count
The
the
middle pit,
the middle pit in the dice itself.
and you ignore the evens.
And you
That
ignore
is-
all the events. Yeah, it's a very Hey, what was it called? Roses?
Petals around the rose.
Petals around the rose.
Yeah, we were never gonna get that.
Literally does that.
You have-
That's why we
you have
allow a brute force
No.
approach.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I was asking, how are you doing that? And then when I offered the suggestion of everybody putting it up there, I'm like, okay, that's not enough time for it to register that 16 was up there.
That's never gonna happen. That's never gonna happen.
Yeah, I wanted to stand in front of them as I went because if I was gonna get shot across the room,
I have an
would be-
expensive education,
straight
and
back.
that's still hung way over my head.
Not like.
But the barrier
Likewise.
does come down.
Yay!
The orbs on the table, are they?
Just as soon as you took the next 2 off, you got them down, you reach your hands up to grab, and you hear this just and the thing faded.
I'm gonna grab one of them and pick
Stop!
it up.
What happens?
Is it still down?
Yes.
Okay, so there's
Point of
no
no return.
barrier. No more barrier.
I'll take
I'll
one.
put it up
Okay.
there.
It's shiny. I like it.
Okay.
Let's go.
Alright.
Does anybody else want shiny orbs?
Shiny
Go
ones.
ahead.
No, we're good.
Professor X
I'm
is
gonna
all like,
snack
I would
I
not
throw it at someone.
do that if I were you.
Are you me?
That's a good thing I'm me.
He looks at the other professor. Is he always like this? Oh, I'm afraid so. Do you see what I have to deal with? And they just go back to talking.
Leave the orbs.
Don't try reasoning those.
I like how it's kind of just like a widely accepted.
Guys, just let him
now.
have it. He's already
Yeah.
claimed it.
Like, there was supposed to be like this whole mystery of what's happening with their guys. And I was like, oh, he's just not.
Well, nobody seems to give a shit, so I'm let it go. I mean,
He's still him.
I
He
mean,
smells
good in
like
everyone.
him.
I'll put it in my bag.
I mean, once one of his fingers falls off or something, I'll be like, okay, dude, we gotta address something. What's going on here?
hey, we're having pizza soon.
I know.
Alright. I didn't know we were getting snacks
It's a
on.
big order, and it said it was going to be 25 to 35. Just so.
Sorry, what do I write this down as?
Silver orb.
Power stretch.
Oh, we can take them?
It has
We'll
slobber
find
on it
out.
now. He's claimed it.
I wouldn't.
I mean,
She wanted one, but I said it's probably not a good idea.
Well, Professor just warned him not to take
Oh.
one.
He's already
I'm-
done.
I'm-
Professor
I'm-
X
I'm
warned
gonna listen to the professor.
him not to take one.
You alright?
Anywhere.
Fell off the shelf. It's
um,
alright, just put it back up.
say, what do you know about this place that I know?
Oh.
They're busy talking.
Alright,
ignoring me.
so I'm gonna head.
Huh?
Obviously, it doesn't
What?
matter that much. I think he's just trying to control me.
Well, you gotta
Yes,
clean it
yeah,
up then.
that's what he's trying to do.
I mean, if it was actually dangerous and it was going to endanger him, he would tell me not to take it and not let me, but that's not the case.
He
It's
just
probably
told
just
you not
a-
to take it.
But he didn't
A
stop.
subtle thing of, you probably shouldn't mess with it. He doesn't know what it does. He's here to research. So it's probably not a good idea.
Now you
To
can research the
potentially-
effects of a missing orb.
Yeah.
Trying to.
He could buy it off me later. So then I'll have an artifact of a puzzle. And also people might not be able to solve the puzzle without this particular one. So then I'll get stuck and die.
I'm gonna take one of the orbs and put it in Professor X's backpack.
In it.
She's carrying them.
Sleight of hand.
She's carrying it.
Yeah. That's a
Natural
point.
20.
He forgot he owned the backpack.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
he is just too busy with his conversation. Like, give a shit.
What's your sleight of hand bonus?
Sleight of hand bonus is only 2. But
So you don't have it trained, it's just a +2?
yeah, it's just close to.
It's just throws it in the air, pops off her elbow, kicks it off her leg, opens up that pack. Alright, good to go. Let's do this.
Slide it.
No one knows.
Yeah.
Alright, the door.
The door. There is a handprint on the door. You gotta-
Another one?
Yes.
I like touching doors.
I think she had to beat you to it this time.
Okay. Sorry, I dropped dice.
Party
It
foul.
stabs you and
Now, you take 5 points of damage. But the door and the seal flashes.
He doesn't heal this time?
I figure
No, that's
out
her. She didn't let me touch it.
what is there a particular handprint? Can I like investigate the panel? Is why?
Roll an investigation.
yay!
Goddamn. 12.
12. You put a hand in the handprint. It's a little bit bigger than your hand, but it's a little bit bigger than his hand. So
And it
Just
stabs
kind of a
you.
generic hands.
with a 12, it looks like a handprint.
Well, I don't.
Except it just stabbed you.
I have a thought.
What would a
So-
23 investigation be on that handprint?
You walk up and you take a look at this handprint, and there's some now slightly drying blood on it. And you would surmise that you could probably put your hand in there. Would you like to put your hand in there?
I would not want to.
Okay.
I kind of push it on it.
You push on the door.
I
The
think I know how
door
he's doing it.
slides inwards. Justin,
Alright.
next room.
Opens up into a room, which is. I'll just put it on
Okay.
there.
When you
This is
open
like
the
easy
door,
to-
the light from Gundrick's mace and the light from Stingray shines kind of across this room. And the first thing your eyes are drawn to is the great big pentagram in the center of the floor,
Oh.
right in there. There appears
Looks like
to be there appears to be writing all over the floor in various languages. Most of them you can identify abyssal, you can identify infernal. You see several religious symbols carved on the wall, symbols to Shar, symbols to dark demonic gods, all over the ceiling, all over the floor. The entire room, all the way down to the next doorway. He's got all this really nasty writing all over it. And in the various languages that you can read, it says things all like, your soul is forfeit, beware, stray ye not here. There's things like
That's
that.
original.
I cast Shield of Faith on myself.
You feel a little more faithful in your deity.
So you have that for a minute?
Oh, no, it's next to
10
the
minutes.
Oh.
I'm walking into a room that's covered in demonic symbols and what appears to be a ritual
Do it.
summoning circle.
Did you
I'm gonna pull the tooth out.
No!
You look like you belong here. You know anything?
I was sleeping.
Yeah.
Who's the grumpy one? No.
Charisma saving throw.
Oh. That's cocked. Modified 20.
You feel the tooth itself start to like get angry and start to flare up, and you realize that in moments that whatever resides within this evil incarnation is trying to wrench your control of your being from yourself, and you fight it off at the last second, but the tooth is silent.
I don't think he cares. I'm gonna put it away.
Let me cast Mage Armor on myself.
Okay.
I don't really have anything I can do.
But-
So
I'm gonna tell everybody I don't necessarily think it's a good idea for us to go into this room just yet. I want to turn to the professors.
Okay.
Where the hell did you land us?
The hotsy-totsy professor stops in the middle of his conversation and turns and looks at all of you and, oh, didn't I tell you?
No.
You said the Evermores, but that doesn't mean Evermores are full of demonic ritual chambers.
We are in an ancient Netherese city teleportation device, similar to the one that you teleported from. A city crashed here millennia ago, sank to the bottom of the bog. This is your arrival point. Where we are is the security system of that place.
So how do you suggest we get past this? And I'm gonna push it to the room.
Well, I could take the one I came with back to the ship if you'd like to go. But the rest of you would have to find your way through on your own.
But then you would lose out on all of your valuable research time.
I could come back tomorrow.
Well, we're already here. We may as well
you're
stay.
much easier.
I'm gonna take out a candle.
Is he for real?
And I'm just gonna huck it over everybody who's standing in front of me in the doorway into the room.
So he says, "Sir, there is a very specific creature that lives within these confines. I was able to dig up 1,000-year-old scroll contract written between the originators of the Netherese teleportation circles and the creature that I am here currently studying. The creatures are often hired to do work for unsavory people. They're not necessarily an evil race, and I would like to write them into the annals of history. See, the people that live here, the creatures that constructed this place, they're called trap trolls. It's sort of a mix of earth elemental and fae gone wrong, where they sell their services to whoever builds dungeons or catacombs. They are the ones that typically install traps. You yourself, as a dwarf, may have potentially heard of these things in ancient dwarven constructions. They are exceedingly rare nowadays, as they have been nearly hunted to extinction, as most adventuring parties do not tend to enjoy traps. This is one of the last colonies in all of Faerun, and I am here to study them. Should be fine.
Can you study dead ones?
I prefer to socially interact with them. Like I said, they're not evil.
Regardless of whether they are evil or not, this right here, this looks evil.
I would agree with you, Sir Dwarf. That does look
Sir
evil.
Dwarf.
I would also recommend great caution.
Great.
Trap Troll's greatest pleasure in life happens to be sliding their constructions under unwary travelers' feet.
At this point, I've thrown the candle.
Yeah, you throw the candle, it clacks on the ground, rolls to the side
I'm gonna look at my
on the far side of the room.
I think it's good.
Looks safe. Go get your candle.
So,
I need my candle back. And I'm gonna start like pushing through the people in the way to get to it.
I need my candle.
have you seen these markings before?
I saw that one, the big one in the center. We use that one sometimes.
Does anything good happen when you use it?
Usually there's a lot of blood and screaming, but usually it's not mine. So yes.
You sure?
Do you want it to be yours?
Kurt.
I'm not sure I have
Yes,
any.
yes, that's fine.
I don't care. I'm sorry.
I don't care.
I think perhaps it would be wise for us to
Fly?
take a moment. We'll make sure you get your candle back.
It's right there.
In the middle of the scary death.
No, it's rolled to the side. See.
I mean, it's laying on top of an incantation. What languages do you use?
Read Common, Celestial, Draconic, and Dwarvish.
It's in Draconic, and basically it's a short little sort of snippet that is a Draconic insult, basically saying that they're going to screw you in the part that they shouldn't screw you in. You know,
Wow.
it's very, like, every potential insult in every language and warnings of doom and death are just written all over this room. Some of them seem to, like, cross each other.
Have you considered that the trap is that it's so scary that you don't want to go in?
I'm gonna ask Salty if he's ever seen anything like this before.
Never in my years have I encountered such an unholy space.
Unholy.
What is everything written in? Is it written in
Various languages.
No, like what
Blood.
material? Is
It's
it
actually carved into the floor. The runes written.
Well,
there
you
anything
said
on
it
the
was.
walls?
Oh, yeah.
Is
More insults, more.
Is there a way to walk around
Oh.
the circle?
But he did mention it was unholy.
What about the ceiling?
The ceiling, yes, there's more incantations. And then there's these symbols that are to, like, gods of evil and whatnot carved in there. So, you know, like the holy symbols of different evil deities carved all over the room.
So are you guys like currently taking turns in the doorway just peeking in, or is anybody set foot inside?
I'm gonna take a step
He's
aside.
trying to.
Yeah, she stopped me. I was like, I need my candle, and I started walking. She went,
So the drow steps inside.
I'm gonna take a step inside.
One step.
One step.
What's that? That's hot.
Just inside the doorway, off to the side, so somebody else can be in the doorway and see what's going on.
Nothing happens.
happens.
Yeah.
Okay.
She steps in.
I can see what kind of DM he is.
I have an idea. I'm gonna try and push your arm out of the way.
Uh-oh, he's got an idea, guys.
What's your idea?
Don't worry, it'll be fine.
The
Oh,
drow's
that's a
already in the
wonderful
room.
idea.
But then again, remember that the race of drow forsake sunlight. And so maybe something with her fact that she's from a race of evils.
He's undead.
Perhaps those two
No.
could potentially
Okay, so-
traverse this floor without any negative impacts. Let's try it and find out.
I'm going to take a step back.
I'm gonna go retrieve his candle for him.
No.
Okay.
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 So as I start walking into the room, I'm just going to start cussing every word that I know and every insult that I've got.
All right. So you're walking across the room. You probably are starting to blush. Even you, just a little bit. Stingray's all like, yeah!
And I'm continuing like in all the
Both
languages.
of your swords are currently feeling like sort of going on right now. Your dwarven weapon is all like, holy shit, that's a tough word.
Yeah.
Pick up the candle, and as I'm continuing across the room, just as many as I can
Yeah, okay.
till I get to the other side.
There's another.
So you cross the pentagram?
Yeah, no problem. Like if the candle's in,
die.
if the candle's in that, then I would definitely pass around it. Or if it's to the
Right.
side, I'm just gonna.
I'm gonna skirt around the pentagram, just
Okay.
along the edges of the wall.
So you walk up to the door, put your hand on the door, and you take 5 points of damage.
Hmm.
The blue flash happens along the outside, and you feel slightly better as you heal.
Again.
I'm full. I'm gonna push the door open.
All right, you push the door.
And now I've convinced everybody that they have to cuss.
Maybe that's the
Maybe.
way that's through.
She didn't say shit. She's fine.
But she's evil.
I come from an evil race.
Maybe.
You come from an evil race, but are you evil?
It's your own fault.
I'm
You
neutral.
cannot blame anybody else for that.
Well,
Does anybody else want to try?
I'll give other kind of. How tall is this room?
Yeah,
by the
sure.
way?
It's about 15 feet. Seeger, you walk out into the middle of the room, kind of like gingerly stick your toe across the doorway at first, touch the floor. Give them after you're done drawing.
Well, I was waiting to see if
You
they were gonna come
set
across.
your foot down and nothing happens.
Alright, I'll scurry across the room, try to not step on the pentagram.
You skirt around the pentagram and nothing seems to happen.
Right.
Urgash has pushed open the door to the next room.
I get the feeling that if
Following him.
anybody's going to trigger this thing, it's going to be me.
I have an idea for that. You have rope, yeah? If you don't touch the floor, or the ceiling, or the walls.
I pull out my whistle.
Oh, okay.
No,
I
see
mean,
where
I was
you're
gonna
going.
tie it to the table and then like lean back so you could like kind of
Surf
shimmy
the
over.
table across the room.
No, like the ropes that we had
Oh.
going
It's
across.
here.
Woo, pizza!
Pizza.
We gotta pause.
Okay.
I'll wait to do my thing until after.
Sorry.
It's not
But
gonna
no, I was
Alright, and we're back. So we had just crossed the satanic cult room. Right now, some of you have gone across. You were about to pull out your eagle whistle and dwarf fly across the room.
This will be interesting.
I do believe the eagle whistle allows you to like blow upon it a number of minutes equal to your Constitution modifier. So like getting across this thing.
You're gonna count that as a full minute, or
No.
Okay.
No, it's not gonna take you a full minute to get across.
It's gonna take you like 6 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah, it would take you maybe like a round, basically, to get across this thing.
even if you did take a full minute, just because it's per use, I'd be okay with that. If it didn't get eaten by demons.
No.
Do we observe anything, any lights or anything like that as he's going across?
The eagle whistle, the tweet of the eagle whistle itself, sounds kind of eagle-ish.
Okay. See? It's meant to be scary. And that's it. Why don't you step across?
But the professors now make their way across the room. Neither one of them avoid the pentagram in the middle of the floor. They seem to not be really paying attention to like the surroundings.
Step in.
Nothing bad happens.
All of my cursing disarmed it.
I'm still skirting the pentagram.
Okay.
There's no fucking way.
Alright, Jake.
Fall over, I guess.
Alright.
Here we go.
Everybody has made it across the pentagram room. The next room
That's my
contains
purpose was
A
to be
lot longer
scary
than you
as
guys
possible.
were expecting.
well, the whole purpose of that room is to be as scary as possible and to make you guys really like, okay, we just don't want to go in here.
Is there
And
any
why I
doors
created an
somewhere?
excuse for
I wanna
myself to go in
search
there.
and
I
see
need
if
my
there's-
candle.
I get it. But you gotta let the DM have some fun.
Well,
So the next,
I didn't know that it wouldn't do anything. I just assumed because of how over the top scary it was supposed to be.
the next room contains 2 doors in the wall in front of
He
you.
was cursing a lot.
There does appear to be some writing in the wall, carved into the wall, similar to the first room that you came in, but this one is also in common.
There's a one word.
What does it say?
Does it say?
In the morning, I walk on 4 legs. In the afternoon, I walk on 2. In the evening, I walk on 3. What am I?
Man.
Ah,
So you say man?
Yeah.
So say you walk up, you read it, you're like, man! Yeah. Everybody, the whole group turns and looks at the halfling who just randomly said man.
Okay.
Both doors have a handprint next to them.
so I,
Humanoid? I don't know.
Humanoid.
so I go over there, inspect it, look at him, and it's like, oh, yeah, I remember this riddle. Yeah, it's the life of man. And when they're born, they crawl on all fours. When they're adults, they walk on 2 legs, and then when you get old and crotchety, you walk around with a cane.
Unless they're meant to think that it's man,
Oh.
and it's some actual magical creature.
Or, and he's like, or, that's good, but or the man is particularly hung.
Oh my god.
What does that have
And
to
at
do
that-
with it? I mean, if you're
You
hanging
walk
from a
up.
tree, you can't really walk.
Left door or right door?
So we're looking at it like
You understand
this.
what you're older
Right.
reacts.
By these doors
The
too.
right
I
door.
mean,
The right door?
I don't think
Right.
you can really
I
get older
take-
considering that's dead.
I don't know.
What was the first door? You take 5 points of damage.
you know, you look like you wince when you touch the door. I feel better when I touch the door.
Well, everyone's staring at the wall, so I figured to do something.
I mean, you could have asked me to open the door.
Would you like to open it now?
There's
Sure.
2 doors, you can open the other one.
Sure. I'll open the other one.
I'll
I'm
push
assuming
the
this is
one
the
on the
wrong
other
one
side.
for that, but
You walk up, put your hand on the door. You take 10 points of damage. And the blue. Unscathed.
Does he read?
I thought of what way we could potentially abuse this.
switch. The doors that I can open. You open the door that I can open. I open the door that you can open.
Or he got cocky about it and Ian's having fun. So,
Or
so
none of the
I
above.
pushed the door.
This is actually a third option.
Yeah. Which just makes it more fun for us, isn't it?
I pushed my door open.
You push your door. What do you do?
He pushes
Stand
his
there.
door open.
Waiting for my hand to feel better.
Like expectantly?
Yeah.
Okay.
What am I gonna feel better?
Good luck with that.
How's that going for you?
It looks like you're bleeding there a little bit.
What? Do I have blood anymore?
It's black.
It's black. It's kind of tarish looking when it comes out.
Oh, you want some?
Flick. It doesn't so much as flick off your finger, it's just kind of goos a little.
Well, that's what I'm trying. I'm trying to spray them with the goo.
The wool is
Oh.
like so thick.
Come here. I want to start walking across the room.
You just disarm him.
Are you gonna go in the room you
Yeah, literally.
It's not open yet, but the outside is glowing. But she opened that one.
He hasn't opened it yet.
I put my hand on the thing.
But he hasn't
Well,
opened
yeah,
the door.
that's what I mean.
And the seal went.
Are you gonna go in?
Yeah, I think right this moment in time we're going to hold on to that. You see in front of you, about a 5 foot deep hallway. There's a wall to the left. Goes about 15 feet, and you can tell that the hallway would go.
Continue on.
All right.
Onward.
Yes.
So you bring her down to like right there in that corner. Are you gonna stand there? So,
No, I'm following her.
okay.
Alright. If he's following me, then I'm gonna keep going.
Not always your fault.
I know.
Usually not.
I'm already on
There's
it.
an empty spot on the table.
I don't want this. Remember.
You gonna want more or?
No. Thank you. So the wall kind of switches back to your right. What do you?
Keep following it.
Keep going. Dexterity saving.
What's that? Oh, never mind. Sorry, I think you said my name.
It's paused. 13.
13. Alright, so you come across. So you come, there's a little kind of switch back here. Goes back and forth. Right about here, when you cross this section, you hear this. What'd you roll for your dexterity saving throw?
13.
13. Out of the wall right here comes this huge jet of flame that shoots across the entire thing. You're gonna take
Nothing on the dragon.
8 fire damage. It kind of like it shoots out from basically right here and takes up this whole 10-foot square all the way across.
I don't know about anybody else. I'm the only one that was following because nobody else said
Well,
anything.
You can do a dexterity saving throw as well.
Oh no, like I'm not in the room yet, but like I'm the only one that like saw this happen. I'm assuming. It was like, oh,
You saw the hallway lights up for a second. You probably hear Lady Pendragon. Ah, fuck!
At that point, I will.
You're gonna rush in.
Stop!
I mean,
What just happened?
didn't the tank? The
I'm
tank
gonna
already
look
happened.
down.
Look down.
Like, I
Okay.
mean, I'm back in the hallway, so I'm looking down now to see like what I
Tripwires.
triggered.
It was a tank.
Roll an investigation.
24.
You just barely see like the section right there, just
The stone.
stone itself kind of rise up just a little teeny bit.
Oh, right inside the door.
You notice it's like basically this 5-foot square right there.
Okay. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
There's a 5-foot square there, right in front inside the doorway. That
So if I kind of bend down and like look around the corner, maybe I'm not the best person for this, but see if any of, I don't know how I would see if they look the same or if it's just that one square.
You could try pushing the same one down again, see if it's fire or not.
Yeah, that's a good plan because that worked well for me first time.
Don't you have like a stick or something?
I have a quarterstaff. I can stand a couple feet
well,
back.
the hallway is 5 feet wide, so you can only be you can't. Medium creatures, you got to be like in a line. So right now she's blocking any access. You can hand her your plus her dash is between you and her.
That'll work. I'll
So you got to kind of hand it to her dash.
Oh, thank you.
pass it on up to Lady Pendragon. She's
Oh! Okay.
Okay, so I'll like get kind of.
You got to push everybody back.
I'm gonna step back a little bit, guys, and I'm gonna stand against the wall
Okay.
and poke it,
You
push it down.
push down, and you hear a little tink. Again.
Okay. Can I, from where I'm standing, do the same thing to the ones on either side?
Not really. You gotta get a little bit closer. It's just
You gotta
can't
step
really,
on the plate
you
again.
can't really, seem to put much force on that section or that section. With where you're just
Can you keep that plate stayed clicked?
Trigger the plate, and then after the fire dies, step on it, so it doesn't reset.
Oh, so put myself on the trap.
No, just trigger the trap first. When the flames die down, you jump on the trap.
And if you
And then
start,
it doesn't
if you start going
raise back
up,
up.
then you step back into the room.
Yeah.
Because then it goes tick tick.
Alright.
It's like a seesaw.
Or you can put it down.
So I'll trigger it again from back on the wall.
okay. Click.
Can I keep the weight down?
Straight.
You guys roasting up there.
Marshmallows.
Keep seeing fire.
Athletics actually.
15?
15.
You have a burnt stick.
Don't burn my stick.
So the plate pushes the quarterstaff back up when it resets, and the 1 foot of her quarterstaff is now scorched, burnt, blackened.
You guys need a hand up there.
There's no chairs
You have to
Maybe.
stand more time.
or
I don't know
find a
what's going
chair
on.
to use. No chairs in there. So
Where did my soda go?
yes, you can, but you don't have anything to sit
Right in
on.
front of you.
I had to-
Hey guys, I can climb. You wanna try that alternative?
Yep, sure.
You can climb, but what does that do for the rest of us?
Can you go into the room on
Yes.
that plate? Try.
You're back in the room as far as I know. The only people that have followed her into the hallway are this one and this one.
Well, I've said that I.
Oh, very fine. I'm sorry. I missed that
I did
part.
finally come up there.
Okay.
Well, I was hoping the code DM heard.
Okay. Alright. That's fine. I'm sorry. I did not hear it. I was trying to deal with everything all at once.
Alright, so I'm just gonna take a chance and can I
Yeah.
step here?
Sure.
And-
Step there.
Nothing?
Nothing happens.
Okay. So I'm gonna turn back. So and kind of hover the staff over this. They don't step here.
Skurgash, your next.
Oh,
She's pointing at a section of the floor and telling you what to step
Don't
there.
step there. You'll get burned.
I'll get burned?
You'll all get burned.
We'll both get burned.
Oh.
But
So if
he
I
wants
step
the
on it
blessing
and then
of the
step
dragon.
back in, will we both still get burned or just you?
Do you want to risk it?
He wants the blessing of the dragon.
Remember, I can give you the blessing of the dragon if I'm still alive.
By this time, I'm probably just.
Do you guys need help with that? I can try to maybe disarm it, make it safe.
I mean, I don't got
He can move through everybody's space because he's a small
He
creature.
really can. So I mean, you can just come
I
up
just
and be
haven't
like,
done it.
That's like climbing
Amateurs.
over people.
I mean, I could just make myself fly across the room, pressing all the things as I go to find out what they do.
What does this one do?
And then when you get to another room where you might need other people, you're fucked and have
No, well, see, then you know which ones you can and cannot step on. You just might be covered in acid or fire or get shocked in the process. So it's just
And he might be sitting on the ground.
So I haven't followed them yet. They're still doing their thing.
Yeah.
Is the door that Urdash opened or unlocked still unlocked?
Are you gonna try to open it?
I was going to, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So you push open this door. Inside is roll initiative.
Inside is roll
That's
initiative.
what I thought.
That's interesting.
awesome.
He's
Even in the
opening the
other
other room.
And there's something inside.
Oh damn.
Roll initiative.
Alright, I got a 14.
Alright. Out of the corner of this room, barreling at you is the biggest, nastiest purple owlbear foaming at the mouth.
Awesome.
It's got one claw back. What'd you roll for initiative?
14.
14. Okay, you're first.
Alright.
It's charging at you from across the room.
Run.
You guys hear this great big howl of an owlbear. Roar.
We have a chance to check this. You fucking jerk.
So, here's what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
Actually, I don't know if I want to do this because
What are you doing?
nobody can
What are you
dodge.
doing?
I'm going to.
Shield of Faith up still.
Yeah, I still have my Shield of Faith up for now. I don't know how many rounds have gone by.
So you're in this
Right
room.
here.
You're right there in that freaking doorway. The owlbear is charging at you.
So the first. Can I do that? Can I just
What are you
move
doing?
the
What are
door?
you doing? What are you doing? Shut up! You're not there.
I'm gonna move.
Not there.
Where are you
But
going?
I'm basically gonna move.
You're gonna run the heck away.
No, I'm not all the way away.
Okay.
Over here.
Okay. So you move away from the doorway.
Mm-hmm.
Both of the professors that are standing there start, and they both go into like full-on casting mode.
Oh,
Saldi has hidden behind the two professors. Okay.
I have my weapons at the ready.
All right, both of them. One of them, this streak unleashes from Professor Ruxpin's finger, goes into the doorway, where you can see like this burst of flame and fire come like out of the doorway, barreling out. Dexterity saving throw.
Woo! Even though I'm all the way across the room.
I mean, they're going about the exact same time as you.
Okay, that's an 11.
So the whole facility now is shaking and smoke is now billowing out of the room. The other one follows up with this bright blue, your hair stands on end,
Lightning blast.
like right into the doorway. And both of them, come out of their casting and they're both like,
Expecting it to come out.
and nothing's happening. What are you
So,
doing? Jade Claw, what are you doing? What are you doing? You went up there further, but you heard some yelling. Did everybody roll initiative?
Oh no.
No.
You
When I
only
say roll initiative, that means everybody rolls initiative.
Okay.
Roll it clear on that part?
Okay.
yeah, because you kind of like pointed at me when you said
Well,
initiative.
You
So.
did, so
Alright.
we didn't realize.
Anybody above
16.
20? Anybody above 20? So 15 to 20?
16.
16, 16. Dexterity modifier, 3. So he's
That's
first,
right.
and you. From 10 to 15. 11,
I got 13.
13. So
Nine.
it's going to be him,
You're
her,
stuck.
you, which gets here? 9. And
Are you
you.
writing this
I
down?
had 14.
You had 14. Huh?
Are you writing this down?
What are you doing?
I'm gunning it back over here.
You're
What's
gonna
going on?
You can gun back over. You're seeing like smoke billowing out of the room. His hair is kind of frizzed, standing on end. What do you do?
I'm gonna tell her I'll be right back. I'm gonna go back down the hallway and see if the professors are okay.
You're kind of pinned where you are
Yeah,
because if
I'm
you take a
not.
step on that, I'm going to require a dexterity to get over that thing. What are you doing?
So I'm gonna.
It's easy to go into the room. It's not so easy. To
Okay. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. He looks over at you and gets this kind of evil grin and like sticks a foot in, tries to press the plate down, and then runs.
Wow.
Dexterity saving throw.
Wow.
No, come on.
Okay.
You're welcome.
12 fire damage to you. 12 fire damage to you. Okay. When you press the plate, you're close.
That is an 8.
Yeah, 12 fire damage to you.
Sure.
Ooh,
Glad it
man.
didn't come in there yet.
I run.
Before you run, I'm gonna make eye contact with you, and you can see the flames reflecting.
I don't look back. I remember I'm stepping and turning as I'm going. So there's.
You are dead to me, literally and figuratively.
Yeah, go ahead. It's over there. Alright, Seeger, what do you do?
Well, once the flames die down, I'm gonna try. Now that I saw where you stepped, because I was right there.
Hey, how was you
I know where the trap is.
Yeah.
I'm gonna work at trying to disarm it or
Alright,
something.
that's thieves' tools for you. Alright. You guys all run into the same room. You come back out in front of the door, and the owlbear is still charging, still roaring. Do
In
an
place.
investigation.
Okay.
Total of 20.
In place, it's stuck.
No, it's
18.
that's not an 18.
Alright.
That's a 9.
This fucking owlbear is gonna eat your face off. You're pretty fucking confident. You have heard of similar type of things like major image. An illusion type of spell that's programmed with sights, sounds, everything. More again, it's more of this arcane training due to the fact that you're a blade singer.
It worked on them,
Instructor.
which is interesting.
Well, all they heard was roar.
And the dwarf is running.
Yes.
Yeah.
They just both instantly
And
react.
I gunned it.
You
It was
come
more
back around the
tactical
corner.
retreat, okay?
You two intelligence.
You bolted.
Intelligent.
I bolted backwards.
You can tell
to
it's
come out
fake.
so we can fight it.
9.
Do you think it's real?
19.
You can tell it's fake. So
Okay.
you two that still feel that it's real, what are you guys doing? You managed to get a pit and dum 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 dum, and then go off again. Lady Pendragon's like, but right before you did it, you flashed her this wink that kind of.
I got this.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
when people start arriving, because I think it's still real, I'm just like, watch out! There's a giant nasty owlbear in there, and it looks way nastier than the ones we've.
The two people that have just come into your room do another one at advantage.
Okay.
Urgash, what are you doing here?
I'm gonna try and Eldritch Blast it.
Okay, roll a hit.
Okay. So there is something there to hit apparently.
Hopefully the treasure behind it.
No, it only allows me to target creatures. And so that is 2 plus 8.
So the way illusion magic works is that it literally projects the existence of this creature in your head. So your magic is going to try to hit what it thinks is there.
Yeah. 2 22s.
So the beams literally go right through it. As soon as the beams go through it, you can tell that it's an illusion. And what was your say? 13.
Investigation, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're not 100% convinced because that, you might have shat yourself a little there. But you're
Just fast, too.
Come on, look at this constitution. You think the constitution like that, I'd shit myself? No. I got a sphincter of steel, okay?
That sounds uncomfortable. Did you have to have that installed?
I'm gonna walk up to it and just kind of like pass
Force
my hand
myself.
through it.
You pass your hand through it. You saw the Eldritch Blasts pass through it. At this
Alright.
point in time, you start to realize that this. I mean, it's still in the same sort of like charging position.
You're not getting
When you
back
step
to it.
into the
Yeah.
room and like wave your hand through it, the whole room kind of vibrates with this roar, owlbear roar.
But since I can tell it's just
Yeah.
an illusion, it's like, okay.
Otherwise, the room is completely empty.
Cool.
Shit.
I'm gonna.
You unlocked it and walked away.
Yep.
This was meant to.
New Neon guys, you get to thank him for this shit.
Oh, thank you.
Another investigation of 16 to see if the room is actually empty. Okay.
It's just got this major image of a charging owlbear coming at you.
Looks like that'd be the best place to hide some good treasure behind the nasty illusion, and then another illusion that in case you got past the first one.
Nope, just
Yeah.
the bedroom. You want you guys to go back to the previous room with me
Nope.
now.
There's a lady in there that's angry.
I'm gonna walk back down
Okay.
the switchback
You
hallway.
can go
and over
behind
them.
me.
What about you? Are you gonna follow
I will follow, but first I'm going
He's just
to.
not going back down.
Okay.
I'm gonna kind of look over at Ruxpin and the other guy. Like I know that they're smart people.
Mhm.
Wasn't quite aware that Ruxpin was such a crazy powerful mage.
Okay.
So I kind of regard him in a new light.
Alright.
Like, I don't treat him like because the way that they moved, the way they reacted, that wasn't how a scholar reacts.
No.
No.
No, it was not how a scholar
And
reacts.
neither was the amount of fire they were throwing out.
So, the thing is, though, it's convenient that you and Saldi were the only two to see all that. So none of the rest of the group knew a lightning bolt or a fireball happened. Just shit happened, and you suspect that it
all
was
that I
very
see is
much
just,
part
like,
of that
smoke.
illusion. Yeah, the smoke and whatnot. You might actually smell it as real smoke, but you're not entirely sure where it came from. You know, maybe smell some
You're not the
sage
only
and
caster.
Someone created a
So,
bonfire.
but the next time I get a chance to talk to Ruxpin alone, I have something planned.
All right.
What
So-
was that?
You guys make it back into the room. There appears to be some sort of stone wall near the room. There's a 5-foot gap on either side of the wall.
So the column.
No, it's more. It seems to be
Small wall.
small wall. It goes up to the ceiling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I mean by that is like a supporting. It
Yeah,
looks like it's
yeah, but
supposed
it's
to-
wider than a column, so it's a
Yeah, load bearing wall.
Yeah.
Alright, so I'm standing here, fuming, and
Literally.
And smoking.
yeah, I want to step here.
Okay.
And can I see like where the flames came from? Because you said
So you can see that. Get a little. She stood right here.
It's
and
come
kinda
popping
looked down.
Torms, what happened to you?
That's probably
That's
what
what
you
that's.
see. All right.
and my response.
But you see what appear to be small holes
Okay.
in the wall itself, like all the way from the ceiling all the way down to the floor. And you suspect that the flames come out of those holes.
Okay.
Yeah, they're kind of like that. They go right across.
Okay. So I'm warily going to
Step across
past
where
them.
the flames come. Nothing happens.
But I wanna
Peek around the wall.
check out. Like, is there anything carved on it or?
Do an investigation. Is everybody else coming back to the room? Or
Yeah.
as you
I
the
have
professors
one.
will leave. So you're going to be follow Saldi, who's the last one out.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll watch your back.
I'm gonna look around the wall when I get there.
Which wall? This wall.
Yes.
The
you
pylon.
see that there's appears to be another hallway down this way. This is more just wall.
15.
So what were you looking for again?
See if there's any writing.
The writing on the wall? No, nothing on the
Writing
writing on the wall. Nothing written on the wall. Nothing nearby that you can potentially tell as anything.
So I'm going to.
Looks like more of this same stone that's over here.
I want to jump across that one to this one.
Jump across that one.
She wants to
I
jump
don't
to 5
want to
feet.
step on this one.
Okay.
I want to like step over to that one.
You land on the one.
You.
I'm a little jumpy.
Okay.
Ah.
Alright. So you are right there. She jumps over a 5-foot section of the floor.
I'm gonna go over and just step on that one.
Which one?
The one
One
same
that
side
she jumped
over.
over.
The same one that she jumped. Dexterity save.
Okay. Yay! Good thing you jumped. Modified 20.
Goodness.
Modified 20. So the whole wall, wham! Into the thing and then like resets
you
as you
jumped.
step on like a plane.
I'm gonna do that too.
You know, it catches just the very end of your tail, dealing 2 points of plus damage.
Okay.
You're like, my tail!
Did
Ah.
Urgash see that?
No, I'm still around one of the corners.
I saw that hiding from you.
All you hear is boom.
Ow.
I probably could have helped with that too.
Yeah, but see, I was jumpy. Good thing too.
Yeah. The speed at which the wall moved was like considerably remarkable.
Probably enough to kill somebody.
If they think.
It hurt like a son of a gun being squish between the wall and the.
So I'm
Other
gonna
wall.
wait until Urgash does come in the room and tell him you shouldn't step there.
Okay.
One of us already experienced it.
She didn't tell you
I'm
not to.
salty.
Well, they've all come into this room now.
Okay.
So they're all.
So I'm at the entrance of the.
He's hiding from you.
I'm gonna go up to that
Approach
Oh.
anything.
and see if I can figure a way to
You shouldn't
again,
step there.
disarm
do a
in
perception
some
check.
way.
Dad, you're taking away my
10.
10. It's probably a pressure plate, but the way the wall is kind of there, you can't find the seam. It's almost like the pressure plate moves with the wall.
Alright. So no
Interesting.
way to really disarm it.
Well, not that one.
Well, alright.
Try to
It
get.
didn't go off when she jumped over it.
It went off
well,
when
I
I
know
stepped
that.
on it.
I saw that happen.
Anyone else?
No.
I'm actually going to walk around to the other side of the wall.
I'll go with it.
You step
over
on
there.
that side?
No, I'm not going to step
See
on that
if that
side because
side
I didn't
was
put
trapped
all of my
as well.
points in dexterity.
Okay, so
We
what
got
do you-
all the ones in my
so I just wrote Jade and P on
Okay.
that side of the room. already.
Okay, you're gonna go with
You're
him
going
and
over
check that side before
What
he
are you
steps
doing?
on it.
Well,
Perception. Roll this one at advantage because you know what you're looking for, type of thing.
well, I suspect that there's a trap on this side because symmetry, whatever. That's what I would do.
There's nothing
So, but
to
I will
disarm.
also I will inspect the wall itself to see if there's any more flame jets on this side.
Do a perception then. Where are you at?
I'm going to follow him around to that other side.
Way louder than it used to be.
Alright. Her bench is
Wait.
still way back here.
Wait. What's gonna happen when Ruxpin and the other guy come in?
They're probably just gonna blow the wall up.
So you're right. I put you
No.
next to Gundrick, and
Alright.
so you were over there checking that out. No, there's too many bodies in the way. That's why you can't really get a good look at the floor. But you're like, these fools want to step on it.
I'm going to avoid stepping on that panel
Okay.
right next to the wall and hop over to the next
Hop
one.
over.
gracefully.
I got a modified 20.
Alright.
Over.
There does not appear to be any sort of flame jets along the wall or anything like that, but there is a seam, it's well constructed seam right on the floor, and there's another pressure plate on the side as well.
Okay. So I turn to Seeger and I say, you know, it's safe to assume that there's something here as well.
Once he points it out to you, Bill,
Yeah.
with that 20, you can be all like, oh, there it is.
I knew it was there.
I know it was there, I just couldn't find it.
Yeah.
Question for you. In regards to the mechanics of the eagle whistle, can I carry anybody with me? Like somebody small like him? Could I just go, carry him? Just talk about
Question to be answered later.
Okay. So for now, I'm just going to use the whistle and kind of little eagle hop.
Okay.
Eagle hop.
Eagle hop.
Like when a bird jumps.
I don't even like hold the note. I just like, whee, and just
No, it's more like,
yeah, there you go.
eagle hop. It's gotta be the. It's gotta be eagle sound. So yeah, all right. Gundrick, you get over there. V, you get out of the way. I'm going to assume at this point in time that everybody tells the professor and Salty not to step, so they kind of. Urgash. What are you doing? How are you going to get through this?
I'm just gonna like slowly just meander around like
Nobody is near the pressure plate when you get there. By the time you get there, they've all like been cautiously waiting, like avoiding you.
The tension in the air is
I'm gonna like
much
reach out and like tap forward.
Tap the floor.
Yeah, just like tick 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 tick.
Do a dexterity saving throw.
Your foot.
Natural 20.
You get your foot out of the way as the wall.
Well,
Ow! You hear this Sully.
And I'm on my back.
Hey, at least
Might want to jump over that one.
You don't take any damage from it, so with the natural 20, you got out of the way fast.
Hence that.
well, he said ow because he wanted people to think that he got hit by it.
You do a deception.
I got a +7 in deception. That is 23.
Damn.
Yeah, you all believe that the wall got him. Do you want to do an insight to see if
Yeah.
you blind?
I kind of do like a sigh, laugh.
Nope.
I believe he got hurt. Would it really matter? This guy's an idiot.
I'm gonna hop over.
I'm feeling better right now because I totally felt it up.
You're all like,
I rolled an 8.
The pitfall trap ahead of us is like, not yet, you haven't.
Alright, so
Let's
moving
jump.
along down towards the
here?
next, yeah.
Okay.
Carefully,
Here we go.
test the floor.
I was gonna say,
Carefully, what do you mean test the floor? How are you testing?
move half our speed consistently.
Like, just like
to
put
heighten
my
our
foot out
perception.
and
At the same
gently.
Dexterity saving throw!
There's the pit.
Dexterity, so 18.
Yeah, you put your foot on the floor and it goes through the floor a little bit, but you catch Lady Pendragon and pull yourself back. There does appear to be like nothing solid there.
I think I should switch my class to an Oracle.
Are you actually
Yeah.
making blood?
I knew it.
As far as you could tell, there is like an open area right there somewhere.
Darn.
So, I mean, she grabbed me to keep from
Yeah,
falling.
yeah, so
we're
like-
up here.
B.
Beep beep. Okay, so sorry. What do I see? Like, it's the same. Is it actually a pit or?
Just a complete big hole. Nope, that's solid ground.
Suddenly, my dark vision fails.
You still have those items written down, right? That you got from the vaults. Because I made you.
Oh yeah,
write
the
them
robe
down.
of useful items. That I'm still
You
wearing.
got that. Yeah, you got that on.
There was the magic carpet. Was
Those things I gave you, I didn't have those on in the professor's
Just the whole
inventory. He had
I
the
think
gold.
someone else wrote. All I wrote down was portable hole. I think.
But it's in the portable hole.
But I didn't find out anything that was in the portable hole. You
Carpet
didn't tell
of
me
flying.
anything that.
I have a carpet of flying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
I'm
was
gonna
in
pull that.
there.
Yeah, I knew about
Oh,
that.
you didn't say it was in there because I rummaged my hand in there and you said I felt coins, so I was like, oh, cool. And I
Oh,
put my hand back
okay,
in.
no, that was right. That was not in the portable
Yeah.
hole. That was just.
It was in the other chest.
Okay.
So I don't see anything, but she clearly almost fell. So I'm really not sure why, but I'm gonna pull out the flying carpet.
Okay, so it's a 4 foot by 6 foot flying carpet. You pull it out, unfurl it, set it down. It's hovering about 2 feet off the ground, 2-3 feet off the ground. You're gonna step onto it.
Yes.
Both the professors saunter up and step onto it. Kind of looking around at all of you like
Expectantly.
you're gonna take the second carpet, take a look.
How many can fit on it? Just out of curiosity. You said it's.
Yeah. How many people do you want to put on it?
Let's put people on top of it until it stops hovering.
Yeah.
Then we'll know.
Okay, but that could kill the magic too, so I really don't want to go that far. I don't know that much about this.
Let them go.
I hop on it.
first.
I hop on it with my armor, and it freaking kills the magic. Great, my fat ass broke it.
I'm going to cast Identify right now because I want to understand the carpet.
Okay. Its carrying capacity is 400 pounds and its flying speed is 60
He'll have to
feet.
go by himself.
Yeah.
So right now it's kind of maxed out with the professors and you.
Alright.
I
Hence the whole looking of like you're gonna take the second carpet, right?
I just knew and didn't
Right.
say anything.
Really?
So you guys want to be left down there alone?
Can I see your version of that? Oh, it's right here.
Oh, down the hallway.
Mm.
Send the light one with them.
I look at him and go, so you guys want to be down there alone with whatever lives there?
That was right. I'll be news.
No response from him?
They're busy talking to
I'm
each other
going to
on the
look
carpet.
around the professors.
Yeah.
Yes, we do!
No, I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to them because you'll have to come back with the carpet if you want to ferry more people, right?
So what are you doing?
True.
Say I was ferrying more people.
She's gonna stay over there, and then we're just stuck.
I want to investigate this trap they found, I guess.
Okay.
This hole.
Yeah.
As to why we're pulling out a carpet.
Sure. Feel free. Perception.
I'll help him.
Okay, then you have advantage on it.
Oh, alright.
If you're assisting him, then you
Yes.
disadvantage.
Look with your special.
11. As far as you can tell, it's definitely bigger than the 5-foot square in front of you.
Okay.
So,
I know that
Ball bearing.
see how
you.
we can.
You throw a ball bearing out about 8 feet out, and after it arcs a little bit, you can hear it clack. You suspect that it's probably about 10-foot square.
I mean,
So-
snap again.
Can I like fly? Having
So,
seen
like,
that,
10 by 10.
right? He threw the ball bearing.
Yeah, but he's the one throwing the ball bearing. You're on top of the carpet with the 2 professors in the way.
Pitch one all the way
And
across.
she's got
just
my
to
quarterstaff still, so she could
True.
just.
See it land
Tap
over
along
here.
where the
Are
floor
you
should
gonna
be.
recommend that?
Yes, I'm going to recommend that she use the quarterstaff to kind of tap along where the floor should be and find out where there is floor.
Okay.
So she either controls the carpet or she uses the quarterstaff.
Sure.
Can I ask one of the professors?
I will hand it to. I'll
Oh,
recommend
yeah.
we send it to Professor X
Professor's
and
control.
see if
You're going to hand a quarterstaff to Professor X? Okay.
I will ask him if he would assist with seeing where there is floor.
You've never seen such a look of hurt and like complete like disrespect for class and position. You don't ask your master to carry
Wow,
things
yes,
for
yes.
you.
True.
You know this look quite often as like you've been asked, certain things maybe around the royal elven houses and whatnot. The look is just like that look that you know as a child of like, how dare you?
I am unable to perform this task myself. I would never ask the princess to do this, and I do not know this other professor well enough to Have-
Persuasion.
any input on that. Oh my gosh.
You instantly
I am thrown into the pit.
crying and sniveling.
2,
Three.
Three.
1, 2, 3.
3.
With all modifiers.
There's this like, perhaps I should renegotiate the contract with your crew then. I do believe that you are here to assist me, not the other way around.
I'll turn back to him as he's behind me.
Yes.
I don't think she meant any disrespect, sir.
Pete, you could tell his royal feathers have been ruffled, and he's just completely ignoring the whole like drow right now.
So maybe the second tripper.
His jennies are rustled.
So I'm gonna
You guys
turn,
didn't do much.
I'm gonna tell or ask Ruxpin,
Mhm.
would you mind taking this quarterstaff and just helping us figure out how big this pit is and where it's safe for people to cross?
The look on his face right now is like you're asking him to choose between you and his idol. Yeah.
There was no good way for me to
Yeah.
go about
The
that.
professors are not helping in this current situation.
I'm gonna go my running start that you need for long jump.
Okay.
Just jump rolls.
Dexterity.
It doesn't say you need any check.
No, but you're trying to jump through a flying carpet of 2 professors.
True. They haven't moved yet.
23. So as you all are standing there sort of recovering from this whole quarterstaff kerfuffle that just happened moments ago,
The
Hey,
back into my back.
a halfling like tumbling through the air, thunk on the other side as he kind of like pirouettes at the very edge. You are standing freaking over here now.
The moment
Alright, so
It goes this far.
in my head, since these two are too good to help out, I'm going to fly them to the other side,
Okay. They're
And-
both going to stand there.
deliver
Okay.
them.
Okay.
Where
Where are you going to deliver them?
to ground that he's standing on.
Well, he's standing on ground, so I'm going to.
Okay, so that you put one professor there and one professor there.
I'll move up and peer around the corner.
So you're going to move up to here and peer around the corner.
And then the professor.
There's a professor in the way, and right now getting in like their space, you can move through their space. So you'd have to be over here then. Okay. All right. You can't really peer around that corner. Okay, from there.
He's tired from that jump.
So.
So you've ferried them across. There's a professor here, Seegers over here. Now,
Go back and get 2 more people.
okay, so the carpet is almost big enough, 4 by 6, that if you turned it a long way, you could probably each like just step on the
Kinda use it as
carpet
a bridge.
to
Use it as a bridge.
That's fine.
But
So it's just like a
there's
2-foot
enough
gap on
people
either
right
side.
now here in this particular thing that the next person's gonna have to move forward in order to make room for the next.
Okay.
So
Well, that's up to the
Okay.
GMs and Seeker because I don't control
Just in
the
case
process.
there's another pit, we can
Traps
just
or
not
anything,
fall in.
Since we're starting to get people over here.
We got high necks.
12.
does not appear to be trapped from what you can see.
Doing very average.
The only person I'm not gonna help is Urgash. He's on his own.
So when he gets up to the carpet, what are you gonna do? Roll it up?
I'm gonna
From,
get to the other side and start. Yep.
okay, but hang on a second. Right now, there's only Seeger and the 2 professors on this side. Seeger's
Yeah,
currently
don't-
checking the next area for traps. Somebody's gonna have to move.
That's fine.
Unfortunately, neither one of the professors are gonna move ahead.
Well, go ahead.
Alright, so you take a step forward and down into another pit.
Yay.
You're gonna take a grand total of 9.
Do it. Acrobatics to stop. Try to catch
You
the
can
edge.
yes, go for it.
No.
18.
18. So the floor, you're just gonna take half damage. Unfortunately, from where you started, you're not gonna be able to get to the other side.
Kinda
So
like-
5 points of damage. This pit is 10 foot deep and has spikes in the bottom of it. You can see through what appears to be sort of a translucent illusion of the floor above you, as both the professors are looking down, but they don't seem to be looking at you.
So did they move?
Seeger moved down.
They're just
Actually, see her disappeared around the corner.
What was that? Alright.
And one of Professor Ruxpin will kind of, your small companion, he's vanished through the floor?
So I
Yeah,
was
down
meaning
here
to
he
ask.
is.
I was meaning to ask with the other pit, was it literally a pit or was it just floor that
What's
you
an
fell
illusion?
through?
It's illusion.
It's illusion floor.
That's what I figured, but I was never confirmed that.
Now that somebody's actually gone through it, yeah, it's illusion floor.
Now it's actually
Yeah.
confirmed.
So is there room for 1 person at a time to get across now?
Room for one more? Okay, yeah.
Well, so there's room to get to here, but how would...
You have to jump.
You're gonna have
That would be a standing.
ferry
long
people
jump.
all the way around, then come all the way back, and then ferry people all the way around, and come all the way back.
Alright, so I'm going to ask the professors back on the carpet and I'll ferry them across the other pit.
Okay, so they're gonna be over there now. Excellent.
Yeah.
So you're gonna ferry who next? 2 people. Who's going next?
I'm gonna fly myself over there.
Cast the
I
spell,
can just
you're gonna
climb my way over to that first landing.
give
True.
me an athletics.
Now I'm going to try to climb out, if I can, the
Yeah.
far side.
Okay, athletics.
Um,
Something about these walls makes it really difficult to get any sort of purchase even with your natural claws.
okay.
It almost seems like they're resistant in a way.
Okay.
In fact, one of the professors seeing you fail miserably, the Professor X, see you fail miserably at trying to climb the wall, will be like, that's sort of one of their specialities, non-climbing walls, they call it.
Does a
Okay.
14 get me out?
A 14 does not get you out. Again, non-climbing walls.
Yeah, high jump that shit.
So once I deliver the professors, can
Yeah.
I?
You can get her and
No,
her
but-
is flying over.
They said that he fell down there. So
Yeah.
can I drop a rope or something and try to get him up?
All of a sudden, the carpet kind of blots out a little bit of light from him, but Stingray's still lit up down there, and a rope comes down. And you can see the
I'll
carpet
use that.
and Lady
Let's check
Pendragon. You climb up on the thing. It's you, and you on the carpet. You ferry those 3 across. You flown across. You've tried to climb across.
I'll
And it
grab
didn't
these
work.
2 on the 3rd.
How much do you weigh?
I weigh probably a lot because I'm wearing like heavy armor. So let's say I weigh 157 pounds. That's just me. That's not my armor.
Well,
So-
With
what
you
kind of armor
and
do you-
him would probably max out the carpet.
370, so pretty damn close.
I can always. I
So-
still have
65.
many minutes of that whistle left. I can still use it.
That's your call.
Do you
but-
want to use it?
Yeah.
Okay, so this was actually going to completely deduce 1 minute from your eagle whistle of time use. So
We're just gonna
if-
navigate rather than
Yeah.
just go straight.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I'll get Jade across the
Okay.
way on that.
Alright, so now you guys are all across the pits. Yay!
I'll ride by
Sorry, that's
myself.
boring. Sometimes that happens.
Well, yeah. I was gonna say it was more than me. I thought it was fun.
Wait. Oh yeah.
Oh no, 17.
Should
So, yeah, I could reach Carmen.
Yeah, that's still me.
Yeah, but at least
I was
that
worried
would
about this.
with anything bad.
Unless you fell back into the spikes.
Um,
What armor is what armor are you wearing?
It's chainmail. It's not plate, but it's still heavy.
55 pounds.
Yeah. So I'm like 212 pounds.
What?
How much door are you wearing?
I don't wear armor.
Oh, okay.
I'm
So
115 pounds.
breastplate is 20 pounds.
A little less than that for a halfling size breastplate.
Okay.
Yeah, make it more heavy to have the same amount of resistance.
So we're all over here now?
No, you guys are all.
Okay.
This is the next.
You want to be thicker because it's smaller form.
That's fine. You don't have to draw yourself all of it. I only draw you on there if I need to, like, keep track of where physically people are for track purposes or whatnot.
Another door with a hand thing.
Yep, another door with a hand thing around the corner.
I'm gonna reach for it.
You're gonna go up there. You run up there.
I'm floating still.
You're floating. You go up to the door and you put your hand on the door. Let's see which one this door is.
I'm not stopping him or getting in his way.
You take 10 points of damage.
Okay. I don't look so good.
I'm gonna giggle.
Wow. Push the door open.
Stab. Why did I not heal?
In the corner, you see a large room that seems to be lit from some sort of source inside there. And across the room, you can see what appears to be this gigantic hut in the middle of the room.
Hello?
Meow.
What was that? Somebody's home, but they.
How
I think he's sleeping. He's not able to.
how was that?
He's not able to properly.
Are you sure it's not your tooth? No.
No, there. So, not a hut, but a room.
That's a hut.
It's a hut.
It's a hut just in
In the corner?
Built into the corner.
Yeah, building.
Does it go all the way up to the ceiling?
Yes.
Okay. So
But you can't fly
what-
like a shoe into it.
Yeah, it's like a shack.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna. How tall is the ceiling?
Well over 40 feet tall.
Okay. How big's the doorway on that?
On the hut itself,
Yeah.
from where you sit, you can't actually see the doorway to the hut.
Okay.
It's around the side.
Okay. So I'm gonna start. I want to get to about 30 feet up in the air and then go forward.
Roll initiative.
Everyone?
If I said roll initiative, I mean roll initiative.
Yeah.
Take the chair. Take the chair. You want your dice or you want to use mine? Doesn't matter. I'm gonna probably pace for a little bit here and just assist when I can. So, storming out of the door comes this great big huge creature with a single eyeball and a cell of its head and a fucking club that is going to try to baseball swing at Urgash. Did anybody get
I'm
above?
going to laugh maniacally.
Did anybody get above a 20?
22.
22. So I
What?
did not write V on here. So, what's the spelling of your name?
Palkyra.
Okay. Anybody from 15 to 20?
19.
19.
19 between Seeger and Lady Pendragon.
Plus 1.
Plus 1, so 19. He's gonna go before her.
We got 19.
19, Lady Pendragon first, and you got a what? What was your?
I got 14.
Okay.
You said
18 is for Dash.
If the U
And
and the
then
J
Gunner
are
like
too
hammer.
similar, just use a T for
11.
11 for. So it goes basically 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, then 6. All right. First up is Akira. You hear this boom, boom, boom coming from the next room. If you guys don't know, this is what you guys are currently fighting.
Cyclops.
A Cyclops.
Yay.
Oh, I know his
Cyclops.
weakness. What does it only have one of?
Oh, it has bad depth perception.
I wasn't gonna say that.
I have
Probably
read
does, though.
Cyclops a few times.
I was gonna say, if you read
You haven't.
Jason and the Argonauts or something like that, then you'll know exactly
Alright,
how it is.
Cyclops.
So, you're up. What are you gonna do? You're still outside the room.
Yes, I am. Is Urgash still in the doorway?
No,
No,
he's 30 feet off the
Oh,
ground.
He's 30 feet in the air.
So you can run in.
How far up did I get?
30.
Okay, so I didn't get that.
Yeah.
As soon as you move into the room, though, he's gonna come running out of his hut right at you to try to like bash you with his golden creature.
That'd be the point though, is to try and
While
get
our
close to
wonderful
this.
Cyclops friend is kind of distracted by Urgash floating up in the air, I'm going to run in at it, I guess.
Dexterity saving throw.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Of course you did.
No, it's just three rolls. on
Oh,
your
right. We weren't doing, because
Yeah.
the way we did that one.
So
Well, I'm
as
okay
soon
with
as
that.
you step in the 5 foot, it's on the back.
You mean this 5 foot?
This 5 foot.
Yeah, that 5 foot section, it is
Do the wrong door.
Way back to the beginning.
there. So
It's the safest place
just
to be
roll
right now.
3.
Check this.
Yeah, so just roll 3 d20s and add 5 d20.
I'm assuming that my shield of faith is gone by now.
That's a d12.
I knew that.
Testing you.
So that's a 21, a 17, and a 16. Any of those hit
Against
you?
your
Armor class.
Oh. All of them?
all of them.
Oh, okay, so 3d8.
Oh, jeez.
So when you step on that plate right there in front, you hear these 3 fling, fling, fling as a crossbow in the corner here, and here all shoot at you.
You
Converging
take
on that.
16 piercing damage.
Unfortunately, since they're currently coming from behind you,
Which takes me down to 16.
that's bad. Alright, so you now are able to move into the room though as your full movement. So you want to go.
Why didn't Urgash get shot by these?
Because
That's
that's
flying
flying.
floating over the.
Flying.
So I'm going to move up
So that's one of the things I was on.
Yeah.
and attempt to hit with my sword.
Okay. I got nothing. He's right.
Yeah.
Very odd.
So I'm going to. That's bonus action to bloodstain.
Yes.
Okay.
Anything that helps you.
So bonus
Do
action
that.
to activate Blade Song.
Yep.
So that is
One of your uses.
one of those uses.
And this is round 1. That's what
This
he
is
saw.
round
Yeah,
1.
so, yeah, I just.
And I'm going to hit with my longsword, which gives me a 22 to hit.
You're
Yeah.
moving.
Yes.
What's your damage?
4, 5, 6, 7 damage. Is that all of it?
+2 longsword. Or, shoot,
It's +1.
a +1.
Bard, they told me.
Never mind. Okay.
She hasn't spent enough time with her yet.
So
I
7
forget that,
damage.
So I'm fine.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. I didn't think so. At the time.
She charged in.
So
Think I got
everybody's
all
charging in now.
information.
Alright.
Yeah, pass the map around, guys.
Yeah, sorry.
To mark yourselves where you end up. Please and thank you.
So did I see her stagger as she ran in, getting hit with arrows? Since I was
You
coming
saw him go
behind her?
off.
I'm gonna call back. Travel the doorway as I'm running in.
Well then, I guess part of my entrance, let's see, where's the, this is the Cyclops?
Yeah.
Oh wow, way across the room. How much movement did it take me to get to the door?
10 feet.
That's an opening jump. Yeah, it actually is, yeah, since I saw that, I guess I'll leap across, just in case it's still trapped.
Okay.
And continue into the room if I can only go 25, and get to about here.
Your bonus action you could use to dodge. Dash.
Dip, dodge, duck, dive, dodge.
Dodging is what support.
I'm not sure, did she hit it?
She did.
You're not entirely sure you weren't in the room. If,
Yeah, that's true.
you know, maybe has a cut on one of his legs now.
He doesn't.
Yeah, I'll bonus
Hamstring.
action dash to get up around behind him, like
Okay.
yeah, over to the side of him over here.
Alright.
And attack.
Sure, let's go for it.
Oops. Trying to set it up.
I need it.
Yes.
I was like, try to catch it. That's not gonna work.
Let's see. I should be able to get a sneak attack on this, right?
You have.
Because I have
Kira.
someone there.
Well, the question is, do you consider her an ally?
Well,
She is a drow.
She's not actively
but I
fighting.
have this too, which is what I've been going off of.
Okay. Yeah. You were considered her an ally.
So 21.
Oh, jeez. You sunk
Barely.
my Cyclops.
Yeah.
Uh,
21, 30.
Jesus.
Fucking rogues.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Stingray.
Sneak attack. Yeah.
it's just an enemy of the
This is
target.
why I like
Yay!
Learning new things every day.
Lady Pendragon,
What do you do?
So you said it's 10 feet to get to the door from everywhere?
For you, 15.
Stop asking people.
Yeah.
Well, I
Well,
I guess we didn't
we
do
didn't see who
you didn't really
said.
say that, so I'm asking.
Yeah. Honestly,
Well,
I
you're-
just figured that, you know, you guys could put yourselves in a room, yeah, don't put yourselves at the most advantageous spot, don't stack them in the same friggin' square.
I was
still
gonna
put
say,
myself
could I be
back
10 feet
in.
back as well? But I don't
You
know.
were trying to stand away from him, so you might have been a few feet from the door.
Well, I was thinking 10 feet back, but 15 feet. Okay, so I'm going to run, do the jump. Do I need to do anything for that to cross? Okay. And then, so I'm gonna get within 10 feet away from him. So basically, like underneath Urgash. And I'm gonna yell, "Cover your eyes." I don't know if you're going to allow that, but I'm gonna use my bonus action.
Okay.
Spend our reactions to do that.
That's
You can spend your reactions to try to avert your gaze and get yourselves advantage on the saving.
That's what I was hoping for.
Okay.
Was advantage.
Oh,
Constitution saving throw.
So that is you, and you in the room. And he's got to make a constitution saving throw as well. So roll a d20. And consult his character sheet here.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so he doesn't have like proficiency.
For sure.
Alright. What's the DC?
15.
15? Okay, so he passed. Would you roll?
I passed.
Passed?
18.
18.
Fuck.
And
So I rolled 20.
You gave me advantage.
you did.
Not anything on
Alright.
No, that was her bonus action.
That was my bonus action.
She tried to blind it.
I did try to blind it.
Shame on you.
Her sword flared up in a bright light.
We're right there with him. So
You know what?
she's
Since you guys were outside the room,
Okay.
What?
It's within 30 feet.
well, they would be within 30 feet of where you stopped, because your movement is 30 feet.
It's Constitution, right?
You have advantage on it because you did yell out last
Okay.
second. I've hurt your knees!
What was the white one before?
It was 7 or 9.
You are blinded for 1 minute.
Thanks.
You can still
Oh, yeah.
Just a disadvantage.
Well, what about vicious mockery? Yeah, you're just mocking him.
Well,
You don't know what you're mocking though.
yes.
Oh, yep.
Okay, so that's your.
I'm going to use my action to add some movement and move up to it.
Okay.
That's Lady Fiddler.
Next up is the Cyclops, and
Oh, now I can't
Targets,
do what I
targets
want.
everywhere.
he
I
has
can't
not been
see
able to take
you
his
guys.
eye off of Urgash floating above him because he's never seen something so crazy.
Okay.
And so he is going to.
Maybe one against that one and one against the one that hurt him.
The most.
Yeah.
In
He's
one
gonna do
swoop.
first attack is gonna be pathetic. Oh wow, no, after that. 13?
Nope.
Okay. And then he's gonna swing again at Cedar, which is
Hurting me.
26.
Well, apparently that'll hit. Uncanny dodge.
5, 10, 20.
You don't have that because you
No,
spent
I
your reaction
didn't.
to
Yeah, we're reading it now.
Yeah.
18 bludgeoning.
Sorry guys, I thought maybe with one eye that might actually work.
It would have worked if you made a saving throw.
He blinked right as it flashed.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and Eldritch Blast him to push him away so that I can fly more towards the ceiling.
Does that affect huge or smaller creatures?
Let me see what the limit is on that.
Because I think that's an Eldritch invocation of yours.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Oh, that he has bigger ones.
No, that he can push creatures, but I think it has a size limitation.
Yeah, it might say huge, it might say large, so we'll
Yeah.
find out in just a second.
Big,
Big, large, huge.
This is just me having. I read it before, but I don't think it said anything like that.
Blast. I know it does have a
Typically things do that. Move.
Yeah.
8. You can push the creature.
Okay.
So this is the creature.
Nice.
You hit a creature when you hit a creature with an Eldritch Blast, you can push them up to 10 feet away from you in a straight line. Doesn't have a size
We see what's back.
stipulation
No size limit.
It's got nowhere to go.
unless it's
Yeah, he's already up against the wall, so he's not going to get pushed anywhere.
Yeah.
He's a huge
He's
creature.
in the
This kind of
corner.
stuff.
Yeah, he's in the corner, so you're gonna hit him, and it's gonna be like boom, boom. But he's not gonna
You can use it.
physically move.
You can use it since you're flying to
And
do
the
the
huge
opposite.
creature on the map that size would be in that corner.
oh, got it.
See what I'm saying?
Blast
Yeah.
yourself.
So now that I can see, the door is in fact huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have an idea.
All right, roll the hit.
That's a natural 1 and a 15.
So natural
15
one
hits.
is gonna say, spell failure like that when you roll a natural 1. I've been making people.
Hit.
Okay.
Party members.
You got that person in the way. You got that person potentially in
With
the
a
way.
huge?
You rolled a natural 1.
Yeah.
There's 3 of us actually.
Because you were underneath of him.
No, she
No,
moved
she
up.
moved.
I moved
Okay,
up to
he's
the
here.
Cyclops.
And then
Alright.
there's
I would
three.
not
So, how do you want it?
next to him anymore with that hit he landed on me.
How do you want to determine which ally it was
Was
hit?
hit hard.
Do you want it to hit an ally? You're running this combat. You rolled a natural
Flew and smacked up.
15, you can roll damage on it.
That's a 10.
direct line up here.
Okay, so I rolled a hit.
So, no, just roll damage.
Okay.
Oh no.
7.
So take 7 force damage, unfortunately.
I missed.
The other one hit the Cyclops?
Yeah, for 10.
Sweet.
I'm gonna rear my head back up and look at him.
You You can see up my robes.
And you are disgusted.
Something falls and lands on the floor in front of you.
Alright.
Looks like
a bit of flesh.
black finger.
What I'm gonna try and do with my flying
Toothpick,
movement
finger.
is to get inside the door.
He's
He's blocking you.
then make an opportunity attack.
True.
You're flying through his space into his building. That would be technically leading melee combat with him. So
Yeah,
roll
the
a hit.
door's not gonna be much taller than him, so he has to. You have to come down and get through it. 27.
And I'm out. I literally cannot survive whatever damage he does.
Yeah.
Unless you
It's
roll
a
a bunch
min-
of
I have to
dice.
roll
Ones.
They're not ones.
Yeah. I cannot survive whatever damage he does. And then I take a failure from slamming into the ground after being more than 10 feet up, right?
If you have any allies you haven't hurt nearby, you can try to have one catch.
I'm not gonna.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying is I'm flying into the room away from them and I'm getting slapped.
Smack
Which
up against the
direction?
wall.
He's gonna slide
You know
down
what?
the
Roll perception.
Oh my gosh, it's like when a bird slams into a window.
It is. He just goes.
Is it like a
Have
sludge?
you ever? I don't think you've seen a bird slam into a window. What happens is they go wham, and then they just hit the ground
No,
immediately.
no, but it's more funny this way.
So you're going to land on the giant's bed,
Oh,
so that you don't take any particular damage from it.
Pretty much his whole group.
Yeah, this is pretty much the only thing in there. Is his bed.
You just gotta have the fuck out, man!
There's Uriash on the bed that's taking a nap.
Third nap.
G'day, guys.
Blind kitten, what are you doing?
Can't really do anything.
That's
I'm
so
gonna
Just
try
sit
and run
and
through
wait.
the door and
I'm sorry. I was trying to help the group.
You can try and use your other perception.
Aside
Locate, fight.
from Seeger, you've all done more damage to each other than anything else.
I'm just,
Right?
I'm just.
I haven't had a chance to act yet, so yeah.
At the end of your
I'm-
turn, make a Constitution saving.
Alright.
I feel that karma has been sated at this point, so
19.
So you are no longer blind, but your turn is over.
Hi, guys. I can see.
You can't say hi yet either, you're still at home.
You can have
no free actions.
Alright. Gundrick.
Alright, I'm gonna run as far as I can into this room.
How much movement do you have?
So when you cross the pleasure plate, you hear it click again, but the bolts have not been reloaded into the
Alright.
crossbows.
I wouldn't have cared either way. I saw my friends getting beat the f up, so I'm going.
Okay.
Alright, so right now,
Currently, you do not have eyes on Urgesh, but you do see a great big huge cyclops. Several of your party members look like they have been hit,
And a cat sitting on the ground.
not
and you can't see them.
some of us okay.
Fine.
We're pretty much all looking worse for wear.
Put yourself anywhere no more than 15 feet of
But
north.
still, we're the first.
Well, it doesn't work on me. So.
the room is.
Still,
I do have an ability.
Yeah, that's fine, because then I can hit them with any of my spells no matter where I am.
Okay,
So,
so what are you
Just
gonna
put
do?
yourself where you want to be.
Thank you. Cyclops is the big C, I'm guessing?
Yes.
Alright, I'm going to put myself about 10 feet away from Pendragon.
well, remember it's a what 20 by 20 foot.
Huge is like 40.
Yeah, so you're gonna be in harm's way to a degree,
Alright,
no matter
so,
where you are.
so I'm gonna put myself.
We didn't write the C to scale.
Yeah.
but it's a huge creature, so it's fucking huge.
Okay, well, you know what? Whatever. I can tank it. Maybe.
Must be nice.
Just don't
Just don't
die.
forget
and
to
the rest
heal.
of us will be okay.
Huge. 15 by 15.
well,
15
he
by
has-
15.
Right now, he has no
15
other reason to hit me.
We're
Yeah.
gonna.
Other than the fact that you just moved.
That's what I'm hoping anyway.
He just hit the fly out of the air, so.
Yeah.
I'm gonna move
Godzilla!
T slightly in the S, because the C is pretty much standing right
Hell,
blocking all of them. There you go. Now you're up to this one.
Woo!
Okay, so
All
what
right,
are you
cool.
gonna do with your turn?
So
That's how you move.
I am going to.
What it takes.
That's a lot better.
Oh my
I'm gonna go ahead and cast mass healing word.
Hallelujah!
Well,
I can't cast it at the higher level, unfortunately, so it's just 1d4.
Whatever.
But-
Healing's healing, man. You're a life.
Almost max. Cool. All right, so 3 plus my wisdom, which is 6 plus 2,
Plus the spell
8
slot.
plus 3, so it's 11. I think that's all I did. So everybody except for the Cyclops and or dash heals for 11.
Damn.
Almost there.
I heal. I don't know if I was at full health or not, but I am now. So,
About what I want to do.
and then that was a bonus action, I believe.
Healing words bonus action.
Yes.
But
But
it's
it's
mass
It's
healing.
mass healing. It is. It is still okay. So then I will attempt. Well, I can't hit him because I'm too far away. Am I?
You could try to cast the cantrip back.
You can try like sacred flame.
That's true. I will sacred flame him. So dexterity saving throw DC 14.
Fairly certain I can find.
10.
It's not like anybody's been watching anyway.
Well, still.
Yeah. We totally missed like 6 rounds of combat so far. Urgash is dead on the bed.
Not dead yet. I'm down. There's a difference.
So you're still technically dead.
So that's
No,
That's true.
10
I'm
It
always
was
dead.
broadcasting silence.
magic weapon.
It was broadcasting damage, just not no sound. The only thing
I'm
that
going
changes
to
is the
action
sound.
surge.
I mute the mic.
Okay.
Well, your bonus action was to. I thought action surge was a bonus
It
action.
just gives you one additional action.
Class feature.
Um,
That gives you a bonus action as well.
Possible.
possible. If I had one that I could use. Which I do, but I don't want to blind anybody, so
Do it. You have
You
power.
can use it like a dawn.
okay. 14 plus 8 again. 14.
Making that noise.
Okay. So is it under half? So then you tell the characters that it's starting to look bloodied and it's looking rough.
What do you got under?
Okay.
And then, since I haven't moved, there's the map.
The map,
Somewhere.
the map, the map.
It's in the backpack.
So, is there a space that I get behind him? Or is he against the wall? I don't know.
He's against the wall.
Yeah, he's against the wall, so you got to reduce the size.
Okay.
Wait, he's 2 sizes larger than her.
So no too.
Okay.
You can move through.
Are you trying to get out of combat with him? Because you could use his reaction then. No, until.
I mean, moving
Um,
forward maybe, but that's up to you. Because you had a
It's more like, because I'm going to use evasive footwork. I can do that. To get to where I'm not like in his face, I want to like where he's not necessarily going to hit me unless he turns kind of thing. Try to get on the side of him. Even if that means I'm in the doorway. Or kind of, because I imagine it's a big doorway, it's a 15-foot doorway, so more than one of us can get in the doorway.
You can do that. He's just asking, how are you doing it? Because if you're not doing it defensively, then he's going to try and hit you.
I'm not moving out of combat with him, I'm just moving around him. But I am using one of my superiority dice to add 1 to my AC. So I have an 18 if he does have an opportunity attack. But I just want to move around him to like here. So not out of combat with him, but like over here.
So there's no rulings in 5e about flanking, so you're not going to gain anything from being on his side.
No.
He can
Just
still just as
hopefully that
easily
he's
turn
not-
around and swat you. He has
That's
2
fine.
great club attacks. He's probably just going to be wild around him. So
Which is fine, but I want to attempt.
It's gonna make her feel better.
okay.
I'll feel better about it. Maybe I won't get hit this time, maybe I will, but I'm just gonna move over here.
Okay.
Alright. And that brings up the Cyclops, who's going to take
Probably one at the chick that hit and the 2 things near us.
first swing at you.
And it's gonna be me first.
20 yours.
I'm gonna try and use my ability to pass.
Nope.
Do I use one of mine?
Miss! Aha!
And then 1 swing at you.
Which is that right?
You don't offer that to the DM.
16.
Yep. If they're not
Alright,
doing
well,
that,
he's
don't
just
do it.
Yeah. It is what it is. Sometimes you just get stuck with these really dumb rolls and you watch the
alright.
creature that you birthed from your imagination die.
Saving throw.
Yeah,
Like this.
that's an 18.
That's not a success.
So I'm gonna use my Defy Death feature to gain 1d8 plus Con Mod as a part of my class feature. Right there. It doesn't bring me awake, I don't believe, but because it doesn't state that it does.
Yourself may cheat death when you help someone else cheat it. You regain hit points equal to 8 plus your constitution when you succeed on a death saving throw.
Nice.
Hey, full.
That's
use it again until you finish a long rest.
Yep.
Use it.
Well, I put.
But I mean,
He's gonna.
You wake up just like a zombie wake. You're just like,
I would say.
Oh.
Wake up.
I'm assuming that's the end of my turn.
Yes.
Though? Yeah. So, I'm up. And I'm at 9 because I got max.
alright.
You hear Urgash.
Okay.
So you're no longer blinded. Now you can actually do something. Still outside of the room, though, all by yourself. Well, the two professors have been kind of standing there watching the battle.
30.
I'm gonna use my feeling agility to move 60 feet into the room.
Okay, put yourself where you're at.
Okay.
Pretty much everywhere.
I don't really need to move 60 feet, dude. The room's only like 35 feet long.
Yeah, but he's 10 on the 10 or 15 on the outside.
That's true. Also, the Cyclops takes up.
Yeah.
Mm.
You don't have to exactly close.
Well, I mean, like, you got the big ass hit on him, and I'm like, what did you do? Stab him in the ankle and like hit a nerve?
Or they just don't have the Achilles tendon, just like sliced into it. It's like jiggling.
Mantle of inspiration.
Do they not have to be able to see you?
They do.
No, I have to be able to see them.
So you cannot see Urgash
I
or
cannot
see
see
her.
So it's bloop bloop and bloop.
All are temporarily healed.
You get 8 temporary hit
You
points.
get 8 temporary hit points. You don't heal. You just put them in the temporary hit points.
Josh, backseat DM, come on.
But you can use your reaction to move without
To your
provoking
full
an
movement speed.
opportunity attack.
Neat.
Does anybody want to move? Yes. 2 people that are. You don't get it. Valtira?
I'm
You don't?
good.
Okay. So, unfortunately, we'll have to wait
I
for
will.
you. You're gonna move?
Yeah, I'll move.
Go.
Use my
Move
reaction
yourself
move.
Just don't get another reaction.
And I can still cast a spell, right?
It's a bonus action to use your mantle, yeah?
Yeah.
Then, yeah.
Oh, it's an upside down J. Okay. What is that? Is it like half of an F?
That's the half of an F.
I love
Like I said, I should just put a T on there for mine because we've got a big Cyclops and then we've got frickin' Jade Shoe, so the J and the C and the other U, it's just too much. Yeah.
I'm just gonna move like 5 or 10 feet up, basically within range of him, so I can smack his toe or something.
I'm gonna cast Cloud of Daggers up at him.
On the start of this turn, right?
Yes.
I think he stays there.
It's a 5 foot on each side, but it's a cube.
But it doesn't happen until his turn.
So the daggers show up, and if he stays there at the end of his turn, he takes it again, yeah?
Yeah.
So he's currently sort of in-ish a Cloud of Daggers. But
Yes.
anyway, that's Jade Shoe. Who's next?
Gun it! Okay, so, Gundred
You
is
feel
going...
great.
Did I?
Yes.
I wasn't
The
aware.
bard declares.
I feel great, alright.
Make a deception check.
So I'm going to...
Oh, really? How does it work?
I feel pumped for battle.
Okay.
So I'm gonna... And,
Yeah, he feels great then.
yeah. I'm gonna kind of... alright, Axe, let's do this. And I'll push the button to turn it into a Great Axe.
As a
Or
bonus
not a
action.
Great Axe, the hand...
The
Yeah.
battle axe?
Yeah.
Okay. Your blade. The old blade comes out the end of it.
Alright, so that was my bonus action. So then my attack action. I'm going to try and like cut off its big toe or something. That was more
feet.
taste the defeat. Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible too. Alright, so
It's dice punishing you.
pretty much for that pun,
What do you roll?
I got a 13.
That's toe silly I missed.
So you sneak down your axe and you cut his shoe in half and it was right between 2 toes.
Perfect.
The sandals. It's right between two toes.
Yeah. I'm okay with that. That's my bonus action.
will actually be your turn around.
So wait, you can use your reaction to move.
30
the
feet.
bard did his
Mantle of
inspiration. I didn't know if you wanted to move.
Oh, and you
before.
get
You have 8 temporary hit points, and you can move if you want to.
Points.
You burn your reaction to do so, and you don't get it back until the start of your next turn.
No.
Okay.
Alright. Then
I like that ruling, so I think reactions will only come back until after your turn, or at the start of your turn.
Alright, so Woodley. And it fails me. 13.
Cyclops might get
You get the other
and
toe!
you catch a bunch of air.
or you. The Cyclops brings his great club around. Thunk! Blocks it.
No taste. It's a little too thick.
Yeah, that's everything.
Well,
He's not looking real
on
good.
his
How are
turn,
you
I come in there
Yeah.
and I hear
What's in
him
his face?
wake up, and I'm like, "Oh, you're alive. Okay, good." Right back out the door.
Taking the potion with you.
Yeah.
Not giving.
Well,
it to
interact. No, I'm. Well, because it's a really good potion. So he's alive. I thought maybe he was just
Splattered across the wall.
Alright,
Even
you
then,
come
we're
up
doing good.
to the doorway, and
Yeah.
you got Cyclops leg there.
hack at it. Yeah.
Tendonize him.
18.
Fucking rogues, man.
that sound?
Love that sound.
20.
Oh.
Oh no? Or
You
just
see blood fly everywhere, but he doesn't come down.
He's kind of standing there swaying.
Kind of using the wall for support at this point.
I guess
No.
continue on through and out the other side, like over here by this door.
Okay.
I think I can get that far.
to the door.
God, I wish I was good at athletics.
Alright.
With athletics, I'd like climb up and stab him in the eye.
Well, I
In his one singular.
I'm gonna swing.
Half the kill Cyclops like that.
drops. It doesn't block the doorway.
But or you can just don't go on to you.
14.
14?
I'm gonna action surge.
Hits the
Did you use that?
No.
Yeah, you did. Because you went twice, and then I asked you if it was a bonus dice, and you said it's a class ability.
You did use action search last time.
I'm
You're just gonna side ejectedly.
gonna raise my sword again and realize
You
how
rolled a
tired I
14,
am.
right?
Yeah.
That's a hit.
Oh.
Oh.
So we just assumed
I
the
thought
15.
it was a 15. 14.
Alright, roll a d12.
Don't die,
Roll a
please.
d12.
Oh, the direction.
He falls.
No.
Oh, that's why I went as crush. Though he's really tall.
Alright. Where do you want that to be?
There's north and south.
Oh no.
Alright, who's over there?
She is.
Red dragon. Make sure you're saving throw.
Ooh, I get advantage on this.
Why? Oh, you're blade singing.
And yes.
And now, hey, here's the next thing. You have to decide where this is gonna fall.
Well, it's advantage on acrobatics.
No, it's a
Which I
saving
don't
throw.
have anyway, so it doesn't matter.
I was gonna say, you just cartwheel away.
I'm strength, not dexterity.
Well,
What'd you roll?
11.
So then now here's a question of how much damage does that do? I'd say 2d6.
Yeah, mostly blubber at that point,
Yeah.
right?
Plus it's hitting the corner here and kind of slowing down, sliding down.
so does she get clubbed?
So she
So
took
does
one
the
damage.
Cyclops, boom, and then started sliding down the wall
Oh.
on her. So it kind of falls and crumples into a
He
heap.
kind of blocks the door and now her dash is trapped.
Yeah. So that's why I got out of it.
Look,
eventually.
You're gonna have to climb over Dean Banky Cyclops corpse.
Oh, her is.
He is
I'm
a
not
walking-
This smells bad. I don't like it.
You don't know where your smell stops and his begins.
Exactly.
Good job, guys. You guys successfully killed a
My
Cyclops.
concentration is gone.
You are out of combat.
See, I wasn't quite sure which creature you were talking about when you said you were going to be your favorite creature.
You did kill almost 2 or 3 of them. Good job.
They
And then 2 seconds later, the knife.
That's what's the fun part about the DM, is making them kill each other.
Well, and then a second later, the knife is showing.
So is he on top of me?
No, he hit the wall and kind of like slid down
He didn't
and
hit me.
pushed you physically out of the way. That's
That
the
was
9
fine.
points of bludgeoning damage, crushing, kind of sliding
So I'm in
you
the
on.
hut.
No, you're not in the HUD.
Well, I was in the doorway, so which way did he
He pushed you out of the doorway.
We're probably
So he
supposed
kind of
Yeah,
kicked
towards-
you more than
Yeah.
anything else. Like as he's like flailing.
He fell back into the corner and then slumped down, kind of forcing you out.
So it was like it was,
Can I
it was like
climb
a foot.
over him and get into the back?
Yeah.
Sure.
You can climb over
Don't
there.
get the space.
Just like push the
I wanna
toes
check it out
apart
and
and
see
walk
if
through.
there's anything
Do
worthwhile.
perception.
As Urgash sets up.
I'm not even making eye contact with you. 6. I'm so busy trying not to look at you that I can't see anything else.
Yeah, you're all like, oh wait, I have to be in this room alone with him?
I point at the leg of the Cyclops and I try to Eldritch Blast it.
Okay.
Ah!
Roll it.
Oh, sorry.
And 14
Better not.
and
He hits me again,
a
it's
21.
Yeah, both of the beans.
Just push the
Kind of
foot.
slides the body.
Yeah.
Cedar, dexterity saving throw. Remember, it pushed it toward the door.
Kicks
Um,
11.
this time it wasn't on purpose.
You know, the body's moving slow and it kind of just like flops over as the beam hits it. The second beam hits it, you can see the arm just kind of like, oh shit! Blah, as it hits the ground.
Super uncanny.
Yeah. Stand up. I did it!
Pretty sure you're wrong.
Yes, sir. Yes, you killed
I don't know
that.
Good job, very good.
He just saw Cyclops laying in the doorway.
That's right. Then I run up and I start climbing up it.
Okay.
I want to get up onto its face.
This
Is
is
it
the
facing
fun
upward?
part. Watch
No,
this.
it's laying down, face down.
Okay, so I'm gonna slide down the other side, go up to the eye, and whack.
See if it's got anything hanging from its belt that
You've
can
never
be
seen
cut
anything
free
so
or whatever.
So
He stabbed his tooth into its eye.
This
For
2
what?
foot long
Perception?
tooth covered in
Yes,
wounds.
that's our investigation.
Oh, well, 11.
It
Strangest
doesn't
companions.
seem to have anything on its
Oh,
own.
now he's not his presence ever again.
so I'm gonna, while everybody's doing stuff outside, I'm gonna also climb over it into the, well, unless he's moved far enough.
Move far enough.
So I'm gonna go into the hut and then look around with the Pendragon and ask if you found it.
Perception. That's a big one.
I was distracted by the smell.
Alright, I got an 18.
There is a cot in here, along with what appears to be a pile of rags. There also appears to be several carcasses of animals, mostly bones, rotting in one corner, but you don't notice any shiny treasure chests, nothing unordinary. What you know about Cyclopses is they prefer to lead a solitary lifestyle, left alone, and doesn't seem to have anything.
Do I notice the pile of rags now that
Yeah,
can I dig through it?
sure can.
Just
Did he-
for things
Does the other
Five
door out of this room seem as if he would
Giggle.
be able to fit through it anymore?
The door out of this room? The one
Yeah.
that you
That
walked
we
up to?
haven't gone through
Yeah, no.
yet.
No.
So he seems like he's probably stuck in here. Either
It would seem
Placed
so.
in here.
played well, obviously. Yeah, but
There's a hut.
You are in here and you will never come out.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm gonna
I'm
look
not sure
through,
how he got
I'm gonna look through the bedding.
Okay.
Let me go check
Tear
on
it
the
apart,
professors.
empty, Cyclops bed. You find like remnants of Cyclops snot, maybe a toenail, but nothing of value. He literally had nothing of value in his hut other than the fact that he was always fed. He seemed to be taken care of.
Let me go check on the professors.
They're over by the previous entry. They've been chatting this entire time.
Oh, they didn't help.
They seem to be discussing the quantum mechanics of the galaxy and the elements.
That's above my pay grade.
Yeah, you as soon as you walk up, they're just like these long, complex, hydrocarbons.
Hey,
You're
please,
just like,
please,
your
please.
eyes all glaze over. You're like, fuck these guys.
Polysyllabic words.
Yeah. 16 syllables long. They're talking in Latin.
So okay, I think we're gonna move on if you guys would like to. join us.
Here.
And the professor that you've been kind of like, he's not even looking in your direction. The other professor's like glancing at you, glancing at him, glancing at you, glancing at him, glancing at you, and he's all like. And then he's back to talk.
2 bridges burned in 1 session.
I'm just gonna dart back away and say, okay,
Let's go,
I told them that we're going. Whether they follow or not, it's beyond me.
I can't go yet. I have to wait.
Oh
Point
yeah,
at
that's
the
right.
face, where everything's starting to dry and like crack and turn black.
So I'm gonna walk over to the door and say, I see no reason why we can't leave.
I'm staying with him. I enjoy watching this happen.
I'm not putting my hand on the pad or anything, but I'm making a comment.
Okay.
It's fun watching.
I actually go over to the professors as well after she was gone or whatever. And excuse me, professors, I apologize for interrupting, but what do you make of that? When I point towards what Urgash is doing with his tooth and this decomposing body that's like rapidly decomposing. Like, any thoughts or opinions on what's going on here? Should we be concerned?
The Professor Ruxpin, he, excuse me, sir, like stops the other professor in the middle of a sentence, which, you know, now you realize he just stopped him from like yammering on. He says, what's taking place over there with Urgash's tooth is probably something that you might need to prevent from going much further. I'm not sure that your divine calling will tolerate too much
Heresy.
but it's also going to provide a very neat cleanup. he seems to like grin a little bit.
It makes it easier to clean up the dead corpse, so continue.
And then he goes back to talking to the other professor.
That's basically what it's trying to do.
See, I have a character at this point. It's like I'm trying to figure out how am I going to roleplay this in the future, because you know I don't want to like go PvP or anything. It seems like his goals are directly opposite of mine or anybody else's. It's like
That may or may not have been finding out how tough she was in case it came up in the future.
You could always turn undead and see what happens.
So
Stepping.
Oh no, he's talking about.
No, I was talking
Just
about the
you in
plaything,
general.
like in regards to that may or may not have been him going,
that's no.
click.
I'm
let me.
Okay.
the tooth specific.
The professor will actually walk away a couple steps from the rest of the group and talk to you for a few minutes. If you want to run this.
Oh goodness.
Oh boy.
Stuff.
Secret rendezvous.
You're playing with your corpse.
Yep. While I'm sitting patiently watching it,
I'm sitting.
I pull out I've got a book of shadows, and I'm just kind of like looking up. Thumb. Yeah. So I'm gonna try to start the beginnings of a short rest and see if I can do it. So I can heal beyond 9
Yeah.
at level 6.
Okay.
Hey, what's that book you've got there?
You're watching him. You're sifting through rags and bedding.
No, I don't want to take it from you. I just want
No,
to
she went over to the door to leave.
I did, yeah, I'm done.
Oh, right. You're standing by the door, but not touching it.
I'm not touching it. I'm gonna wait for the rest of the party. But if the rest of the party just because you know you got private conversations going on over here, creepy undead that I'm pissed off at over here.
person who likes to watch it,
The cat's just laying around.
watching this
So,
thing decompose.
I mean, if it's an impromptu long rest, then or a short rest rather.
I'm gonna talk with you two about these doors. It's like I've been noticing you guys flinching when you open these doors. What's happening?
Yeah, like we put our hands on it and it like it stabs us, but then it opens the door, so I'm not really sure what the deal is.
I wonder if we can find a way to do anything about that. Like,
I
is
think
there,
I understand why
are
it's
the doors different? Are the handles are they all the same?
Oh.
Do we need like a certain person to open each door that wouldn't take damage, or
It's hard
So,
to say. It's-
Sometimes I felt better when I did that and shout over at you. But maybe if you took his finger,
well,
'Cause it would
yeah,
suffice.
See, I was going to go in a similar direction
like
of the next humanoid we find and kill. Let's take a hand.
Well, he's not completely shriveled yet, is he? Can we chop
No, it
his
takes a
hand?
long
use
time.
it
So can we
as
chop
the
his
door
hand off?
opener instead
Well,
of
his
hurting
hand is
ourselves.
Can we?
Like I said, that's why I said finger.
His hand.
His hand is
big.
not going to fit in the.
No, but he said
Hence a
finger.
finger. Use the flesh of the finger to like.
Yeah, because maybe it just needs
'Cause it's like-
some fleshy being to touch it.
But it's a whole handprint.
Yeah. Well, that's what I say.
But
Maybe
they-
the next humanoid.
Like
will be fine.
swishes into the shape when you press, right?
Big enough
No, because
fingers.
it's like right in the palm that it stabs, isn't it?
Use
Yeah,
the
basically.
thumb.
From what we have
Big
I
gathered.
think I understand why it stabs you. You must sacrifice blood to the door in order for it to open.
Maybe it's
It
reading
could
their
be.
blood and.
Well, I was
Or
wondering
maybe
too
you
if
get a
it's
vial of
taking
blood
the gauge of
dump it on the door and it'll open.
this person opened this door, you know, for its own later use or something.
Or
is-
or it's meant to hurt people, so it's harder to get through all the
Yeah,
doors.
well, that too. But if just a hand
He's sitting
will
here
work,
planning the
then
rest.
that's
It
how we
heals,
come
it
up.
heals you every now and then.
Because it does a certain kind of damage, and that heals me, according
That's what
to,
I'm
to the
guessing.
DM.
Too
They try to-
is that certain doors do certain type of damage. So sometimes
Well, it has
it's
a
just-
chance
Sometimes
of doing a
it's
certain type of
stabbed,
damage, which is why
sometimes
you
it's
rolled
necrotic.
for it, but that's not something.
Yeah.
We wouldn't know that, but yeah.
Curious, is anyone going to cut off a hand or a finger and try it?
Well, we don't have one at the moment.
Yeah, there's a Cyclops finger.
I'm
Well,
too busy watching
We can
this
try
thing.
one of the fingers. Yeah. I'll go over
Well, I
and
imagine that since I stabbed it in the eye is probably drying out and like wrinkling up around it.
Try the finger?
yeah, I'll take my other dagger and kind of cut off one of his fingers.
I'll
And,
take my moon blade and just hack it.
Yeah.
I just
Can we
didn't want
attack
to do
roll
that with
for
Stingray.
Alright, you gonna put it in the door?
Sure.
Nothing happens.
The blue light
I'll
around
pull
turns
it away.
red and like
Does it
flashes.
have a puncture mark or anything? Like it got stabbed?
It does, but it seems to not have any effect on the.
Well, we know that for now, but we can try it
It could be
humanoid
that it was
hands
dead
later.
tissue too, we don't know.
And that, I had that thought too, that
He's
maybe
undead
it needs
tissue.
to be living. Well, yeah.
Yeah, but yours would be tainted with magic. So
I mean,
Kinda living.
Half.
I mean,
sentient.
it's
The finger is no
coagulating,
longer
dead.
but
sentient.
it's
Just
still there.
99% dead. It's not that much. It's only
Maybe some
99%.
doors it doesn't matter, and some doors
He's
it
only
does.
mostly dead.
He's only mostly dead.
He's only 99% dead. It's not that much.
I'm still not acknowledging
you
it.
completely missed the reference.
Yeah.
Princess Bride.
You answered. Have fun storming the castle.
Is anybody going to put their hand in the?
I'm waiting for the tooth to get done.
That's
Because he was mad.
I will.
Well,
I'll put my hand to it.
we can do that. But
Wait,
I
oh yeah,
think-
you have temp HP still, don't you?
I've still got time.
So you've got a buffer, don't you?
Yes.
Point, I don't have.
But do we want to open the door before he's done? Do we want to wait for him? Maybe take a short rest in here.
Well,
As the
I'd like to get a little bit further before we take a short rest, honestly. So however that potentially means to persuade your fellow character to do that, I want to stop at 4 p.m., which I think I have enough time to potentially get to where you guys could take a legit short rest.
Okay, well that depends on how fast you're gonna let him drain the Cyclops.
The Cyclops is going to take much longer than a short rest.
No, you won't get all of it.
Well, it's not me. I'm not concerned about me. I'm concerned about the tooth. Because I'm sitting there like twiddling my thumbs and like.
The tooth is going to take at least 10 hours to consume this corpse.
Wow. Currently where we're at is they cut off a finger of the Cyclops and tried it in the door, punctured it, but had no effect on the magical seal, and then she put her hand in the door.
Nice. What percentage did you roll?
I didn't.
Okay. Roll your percentage.
That's not the one.
10 points damage.
So,
I don't know, have you figured out my system? Lows is first door, mids is second door, highs is third door.
so is there a body part that we could basically reasonably take with us from this corpse?
They've got one
Yeah.
little finger here.
What if you guys
You
already-
do have a Cyclops finger, yes.
Okay.
You could potentially take like a couple minutes to chop the head
Well,
off.
it's actually sitting on like
But
your.
the head
I've
is
got-
like.
Tooth in the face, so
But if
that
we
part's
take-
probably looking kind of
Well-
funky at this point.
Yeah, but they can chop it off.
What I was
Oh.
yeah, what I was gonna say is like you can't have all of it, so we can take some of it. But it's a Cyclops. It's a huge head, so I'm not sure if we can.
Well,
take
at
it
this
with
point in
us.
time, it's starting to shrink and kind of crack, and
Okay,
you know,
So if we all work together to chop off the head, how long is it gonna take us?
like 5 minutes.
Okay,
I'll
let's do it.
use my axe and stuff.
So you guys all chop off the head. You're only going to get 1 charge from that.
That's fine.
So I'll say, be like, there, Ringash, you're gonna have to tell, show some initiative and
As you guys
hand it here.
As you guys chop off the head and the kind of rolls off to the side. More.
Maybe later.
Wait, we're gonna work on that, buddy. I'm gonna start rolling the head so it stays plugged in.
Okay.
You're at a door. There's no more magical block on it.
Alright, I'm gonna push the door open. Or attempt to anyway.
Is anybody below half, by the way? I don't think so. But
It's a pull door.
Hi.
I
know.
Your 11 brought me back up above half.
We could use some healing, but we're not. I mean,
she needs healing. Well, yeah. I guess she look bloodied.
Why don't you just heal her?
I guess I could. Yeah, I'm going to.
Pick a level spell and heal.
Alright, fine.
Quit trying to metagame and just
I
play
wasn't
the
trying
freaking
to
game.
game. I'm sorry.
let's heal the wounded.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
And my players tried that, and I went, "Oh, really?
I don't wanna-
Take 2 psychic damage." Trying to evaluate somebody as you're staring at them, the blood just starts to come out of your body as your sympathy is overwhelming.
That's fantastic. You should not have ideas.
Wow.
I mean, that face
Only
on
healing word.
right?
I don't know how long. Like, he doesn't know how long he's gonna be in here. He doesn't want to spend all of his high level stuff.
But you do a cure wounds at first level, it's at least 1d8. You're doing a healing word at
That's
first level
true.
is 1d4. It's both the first level spell. Okay.
I'll do that instead. I
Alright.
don't want to use cure. Yeah, I have the ability to cure wounds, so I don't want to. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, that's the same level spell there, buddy.
same roll. So.
Oh my god!
So
What?
1 plus 2 is 3 plus my wisdom is going to be 6 plus the spell level, which is 1, so that's 7. Equal 7 points.
You feel better.
So the next room, who's pushing open the door? Are you looking in?
Yes, I'm going to investigate the first 5-foot panel of flooring.
Okay. Roll a perception check.
Ooh.
19 plus.
Alright, so go ahead.
You peek your head into the room. This is what you see. You look to your left.
Oh!
You look to your right. You see 2 spiked walls, and they start moving closer together, and you get a very deep down sense in your core that you have got to get across this room and out before it's too late.
Alright, so I'm going to call back very quickly, let's go. And I'm going to run to the next door.
Okay.
Pull the tooth out.
And my hand on the next panel.
Okay.
You might catch
Shrinking
it.
slowly.
Pick it up. It's just 10.
Okay.
Well, you put your
Yeah.
10 points damage.
Okay, that's fine. And I'm going to immediately open up that next door.
Okay. Your next room.
Hustle through.
Is everybody hustling through?
Yeah.
Yes.
The 2 professors are pushing their way out past the head. Past their gas, getting through this.
So I think I can get across with the head.
Can we help them?
Yeah.
Roll the head.
If
You get
someone
up there.
has a stick,
I'll help
we
him.
can-
I'm slower than everybody else anyway,
Okay.
so I might as well.
Anybody else? You're already in the next room.
I'm already
The
the next
professor's in
room
the
over.
next
I'm
room.
going to jump over the next
You
5-foot
two
panel
are
just in case.
rolling the
Get out of
head.
the way.
You're right behind the head.
Mm.
You're going first.
I'll help roll the head.
No, I'm through.
Okay.
As much as
So the three of you guys rolling the head, I want you three to make strength checks. Not saving throws, strength checks.
That's what I figured.
Nat 20!
Woo! What'd you roll, Rachel?
8.
And
I got a 3.
Urgash is not doing a really good job. He's
My hands are
like
like sliding
mostly
on the
pushing the hair around.
Come on, guys, no time for this.
Yeah, the dwarf just kind of is all like, and he gets down and just squat runs, and he hits the head and kind of like rolls a little bit and kind of like rolls into the next room, just sludge and whatnot on the ground, and everybody gets into the room. Seconds later, the room behind you.
Nice.
That
If it hadn't been for the nat 20.
If it hadn't been for the nat 20, somebody's tooth might have been lost.
Oh, great. I inadvertently kept the same thing.
So,
My God's gonna kill me.
Players,
I swear it was an
the
accident.
next
I didn't
room.
know.
you all end up in a 25 by 25 foot room.
With no teeth, yay!
Now you can see.
Yeah.
What?
And we've stepped across the 5 feet anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know where the floor just goes.
What do
like
we
this.
see? I mean, is there anything on the walls? Is there anything on the floors? Is
Your
there...
perception.
I'll look around to start looking for traps.
Everybody?
Oh, everybody.
19.
What is it? Everybody.
19,
23.
3,
What is it?
I know all.
11.
11,
8.
17.
6.
Okay. You three don't help, but they explain it to you in small words that there's absolutely nothing interesting at all about this room. You could say it's a room of remarkable boredom.
And this is where we'll stop
Okay.
today. Fair.
Yay!
So my head is the only thing remarkable about this
Yeah.
room now.
It's not your head, but the cyclops.
The Cyclops.
She's like,
What? You don't think that I'm remarkable? I got like these flat teeth.
I've got a couple of remarks I can make, but
To be honest, his head is used about very similar to the Cyclops.
So you remember the swearing that you did?
Bonus
I'm gonna top you.
role play, whatever like that. So, we are going to officially take a long rest in this room. This is the room that Justin and I were nice enough to provide for you. It is literally labeled on our map, the room of unremarkable boredness.
So Urgash asked if I thought his head was remarkable.
No, I said it was a comment to the DM.
You looked at me.
Well, that's what that's what I was saying. Because I was looking around saying, hey, yeah, the only remarkable thing about this room right now is my head.
But he wasn't saying that in character.
So I'm gonna say for the
Well,
that's no
Cyclops,
fun.
everybody gets 400 for not strangling me over the puzzle. Everybody gets 100, so 500 for everybody. And then who is playing their character?
Urgash is definitely playing his
Yeah.
character well.
Who's second
yeah.
place?
I don't know. What do you think, Justin? I think Leap Pendragon did a pretty good job. Seer did a fairly good job, and Gundrick Lighthammer did a good job. We could have had a little more interaction from Jade Claw and Valkyria.
Well,
But
he
however-
did try to talk to me when you guys were outside talking about the book, and I was like, yeah. It's like, what kind of book is that? I was like, it's the Book of Shadows. And he's like, I like shadows. Like, they're mine. Click. Put them away.
Absolutely 50-50.
That's it for right this moment in time. So we will hopefully get together in 2 weeks to do more. That's all I got for right now. You guys have not quite made your way through the security system of this dungeon, but you have made your way about halfway.
It's 23,000 to what was 7, correct?
Yeah. 14,000.
Yeah.
We'll get there, pal.
12.
Most of you are just peaking level 6, so maybe a couple hundred beyond. Does anybody have any questions? Anybody have any announcements? I have several announcements.
Okay.
Besides the fact that we have the co-DM and whatnot, I have determined that when we get into April, the first weekend we play in April will be Curse of Strahd.
No joke?
No joke.
Okay.
We will officially start.
After
Justin
you're
and
ready.
Julie get back from vacation in April. So that first weekend that they're back from vacation is going to be Christmas drop.
I was gonna say it's literally April 1st. That's Sunday. So
Yes.
that's why I'm like, no joke.
No joke. No joke. But your character survival may be a joke.
Yeah, well,
Eh,
I have an entire
You
order
survived!
of
Bring
I
the
I have an entire order of
Stop broadcasting, please.
Next day,
Survive.
Was like, you survived.
Button.
Is my phone back?
April Fool's wedding.